The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
Good morning to you, everybody.
Yo, wake up.
It is Wednesday, halfway through the week.
Gosh, it is. Time flies, doesn't it?
Okay, Carter, if there's one thing girls like, it's a guy with tattoos.
I feel some of you are like, okay, what's going on with this guy? Are we at a show or are we being robbed? I live across the street from a 7-Eleven. I drink a lot of Mountain Dew, okay? I'm in that 7-Eleven constantly drinking Mountain Dew, okay? Getting refills. I'm in there so often that everyone who works in that 7-Eleven, they have a nickname for me. When they see me, they call me Mountain Dew Guy. Do you guys know how much Mountain Dew I have to drink not to have the nickname Throat Tattoo Guy? Recently, I was in a shoe store, and a dude comes up to me, and he goes, "Oh, your face, that's crazy. I can't believe you did that." And then he goes, "Dude, so what are you, like a tattoo artist?" And I was like, "No, man, I'm not good at art." And he goes, "So just no job?" Like there's no other options? I can do work. He's like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, technically no job."
Ah, Christ. Isn't this something? Isn't this something right here? A Wednesday broadcast. It's 5:40 in the godforsaken AM. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. There's old Cubby sitting across the room from me with that big fat skull of his.
You have a big head.
You and I both have oversized noggins, don't we?
In different ways. Mine shaped like the head of Alien from the movie Alien.
It's long.
It's just a long head. It's narrow but long.
Right.
Which I wish it was the other way. It's tougher to get hats that work for me.
You have a long skull.
Sunglasses, stupid. Just they don't work for me.
You can't wear sunglasses because of your misshapen. But you know what?
Scientists have called me the only guy that doesn't look cool in sunglasses.
It's the friggin' truth. It's the sad truth. But you know what I just read to myself, and now I'm prepared to say it out loud. This is a true fact. I just read it online. Having an obscene, misshapen, African bush elephant-sized skull is a sign of great intelligence.
You know what's sad is there's this list of subtle signs someone's very intelligent. That's the list you're reading, and that's like the one I have. It's just the giant skull. There's one more on there, for sure.
What I know is that was the only fact that was interesting at all. The rest of this stuff is kind of boring.
It's kind of obvious.
Kind of obvious, too. What was the other subtle sign that you're intelligent that you matched up with on this list?
Well, I didn't know this meant you were intelligent, maybe emotionally intelligent, but I am, I think, pretty good at admitting if I made a mistake. Like, I don't hold on to it. There's no pride that's going to hide the fact that I screwed something up. Okay. I might even say these two words. My bad. Might even say that.
Okay, you can admit when you made a mistake. Okay, fine. The other signs, subtle signs that someone's very intelligent, I like the big skull one. I still think that's about the only really interesting.
Does anybody really think that when you see someone with a giant head? Like,
no, but I'm getting...
There's a Rhodes Scholar right there.
Yeah, look at that guy.
From now on, I will. From now on, I will.
I used to think that because of Jimmy Neutron. He had a huge head and he was super smart. It was a cartoon I watched when I was a kiddo. And yeah, he had a huge head because he had a huge brain.
And he was pretty bright.
Mm-hmm. Well, Stewie from Family Guy, he's pretty smart and he's got that big football head.
Yeah.
I mean, he's invented a time machine.
That is impressive.
When he was 2 or something like that. Other subtle signs that you're very intelligent, or when you're good at problem solving.
That's not subtle to me.
Nah.
When you feel challenged by new things, not threatened by new things. When you can understand someone's opposing view. This and that. It's boring. The one that really grabbed me was when you have a giant baboon skull, it's a sign of great intelligence. And by God, put a picture of me and Cubby in the book of giant noggins, because we have been saddled with them since the day we were born.
Widespread panic, Jesus brings up a good point. You know, Beavis and Butthead have very large heads.
Oh.
I don't think those guys are very intelligent.
Nah.
Very entertaining, not necessarily intelligent.
Everybody's different.
The idea of new things threatening people versus just, feeling challenged. And I'd be curious for listeners to text in if it's the same in their line of work, but hear anything new, it's like a argument. It's a fight. I've heard a couple people say in this building, over really minor changes, I refuse to learn that.
Yeah.
I am not going to learn that. None whatsoever.
That's so weird.
Things that would make their lives easier if they just tried it out a little bit. I have a family member who was fired for that. Thought he was too smart. The new way, anything the boss said was just dumb. Too smart for this. This is the old way's better, that kind of thing. And I have no idea really if it was. It could have been. But he kind of has that reputation, and so he ended up getting canned for it.
In the end, it's probably obvious that he felt threatened by this new thing.
Well, yeah, it was a combination of that, and I think just, he's arrogant and thought he knows better than everybody. And they're like, hey, dude, here's the thing. Like, we have to do this. This is company-wide. The whole nation, all the different, places that they have, we have to, this new system, that's what we have to do, and he refused.
That's interesting. I don't think I feel threatened by new technology and new policies or anything around here. But I certainly don't embrace change around here. Other than our listeners know this very well, we could use some new equipment.
Yeah.
Other than that, I like things to stay about the damn same day after day as far as how we do our particular tasks. I like things to stay the same.
Now I'm going to sound like this family member, but some of the security implements around here have made things very, very, very difficult.
Oh, my God.
Logging into your corporate email, that's 3 different devices that logs you out constantly. Not to mention, then they send you all these emails trying to trick you into clicking on it. Dana, you're very good at that.
I'm very, very good at falling for those.
Yeah, you're one of the best at falling for those.
It's not even like I don't even read it. I just like, oh, there's an email. I'll open it. Okay, there's a link. I'll click on it. It's more, I think, almost just laziness of not even bothering to read a subject line.
2 sets of twins, Jesus said, big head equals intelligence. All the small-headed, stupid peasants will now bow to their leader. 2 sets of twins, Jesus. He must have a pretty big one.
Got a big fat head.
Eastbound at sundown, Jesus. Is that why Obama fired him? No, that's a different family member.
Different family member got fired by Obama back when Obama was president.
Obama has nothing to do with what he does, but he was geniusly able to connect his firing from his own negligence back to president at the time, Obama.
This was a different uncle who was too arrogant and stubborn to take on some kind of a new challenge at work, so he quit. He quit or he was fired?
He was fired.
He was fired.
He screwed up big time. And right? He admits, hey, I screwed up. But if it wasn't for Obama, I wouldn't have been fired. Some policy that led to his termination in his mind.
Here's a text from Uncle Bitch Jesus. Do you feel threatened by my bunghole is the question. No. Should I? Get back to me.
Dry-aged ribeye Jesus, another good point. Herman Munster, not that smart. Huge head. He did have a big head.
Everybody's different. There's all types out there. Here's Josh and I with the big fat elephant craniums. The rest of you is with these little pea heads. But that's what makes us a beautiful thing, right? Some people are built this way. Some are built that way. Some folks got a big fat ass. Some folks have a little teeny little baby ass. I get made fun of by the friggin' wife. You've met her, right, Josh?
Of course.
I get made fun of by the wife for my teeny tiny little infant ass.
Just no ass at all.
Well, and I always tell her I'm the son of a truck driver. I was meant to be built. I got trucker butt.
You got to do some squats.
Trucker butt was passed down to me from my trucker father, she'll grab onto my ass and she'll say, "It's just nothing there." The little teeny little baby ass. She makes fun of me in the house in front of people and everything.
Oh, no. Well, now, you can tell her this. You can tell her that you're less likely to set off an alarm at an airport because there's a new viral video going around where apparently a woman said that a TSA agent told her people with bigger butts set off false alarms when they go through security.
Oh, is that right?
TSA agent just told me that people with blessed posteriors set off the X-ray machine more often than not. I feel like this is something we need to test out, everybody. Next time you go to the airport, please tell me, did you set off the X-ray machine?
You guys have a blessed posterior?
I really like the way she phrased it. That was really nice.
Wow, a bigger bottom might set off the security alarms. I wonder why.
Good question. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like, hey, they must be smuggling something in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You ever hear the story about my sister and Janet Jackson? And don't get excited, Cubby.
That's like a dream I've had.
You ever hear the story about my sister and Janet Jackson?
No.
Many years ago, my sister was working, for many years, she worked in Uptown, managing a couple different clothing shops, hip, stylish clothing shops. And one day, she was working in there, and here come Janet Jackson. Whoa. Control, right? You know who I'm talking about. And my sister and this other gal she was working with that particular day were, well, wow, come on in, Miss Jackson, right? Take a look around. And Janet Jackson did exactly that. And as Janet was walking out of the store, my sister thought she said this under her breath enough to her coworker to not be noticed. But apparently she did not. My sister whispered to her, didn't whisper enough, but she said to her coworker, "Dang, he's got kind of a big ass." And Janet Jackson heard her and spun around and gave my sister a dirty look on the way out of the building. Control!
So back then, maybe that wasn't a compliment? I mean, now if you say that, somebody might say, hey, thank you. Thank you for that.
Right. This is 1991 or something like that. And no, the big ass movement hadn't made its way over the horizon just yet. Like I was saying, we're all different. Some of us are built this way, that way. Here are some people who claim to have won the genetic lottery. Does anyone think there's any element to how you're built, how you're made, to where you think, I got lucky?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It took me a while to come up with it, though.
Is it the pecker?
No. I lost that.
See,
miserably.
I think you're hung like a Belgian plow elk.
I'm not.
And you always do these small penis deprecating jokes about yourself.
It helps me cope.
To try to get us off your... to throw us off the scent.
No.
Not
there
hung
is
like
quite a scent. I don't talk about that. But yes.
You have no plow elk elements?
No, not at all.
Okay, go ahead. How are you a genetic freak?
Okay, again, like I said, it took me a while to come up with this. But I've only had barely one cavity. And it just happened. To the point where the vet, well, it's not a vet, it's a dentist. The dentist said, you know, you got some. I told her when I went in, I'm really hoping I get a cavity. And the reason is my wife, her hygiene, I mentioned this before to you guys, it's impeccable. Flossing, brushing a couple times a day, whatever, and she gets cavities all the time. It's not fair. So as a supportive husband, I've wanted to get one because I floss a few times a year. I brush maybe once a day. You know, I don't have the hygiene she does, but I never get cavities since I was a kid, right?
So let me ask you something, because you know I have unbelievably limited knowledge on dentistry, oral health, nothing. I've been to the dentist now a few times, but I didn't go for 25 years or whatever, right? Adults still get cavities? That's not a kid's thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was totally unaware of that. So
I thought it was called tooth rope. until she told me it's actually floss. I should be flossed.
Well, I haven't had a cavity since I was 4 or something either.
I've never had one.
Yeah, I've never had one.
You guys, you're lucky. She was telling me that it's not that common. By that, I mean the dentist.
I've heard that from other people that they are very shocked when I tell them that I've never had a cavity.
How good's your oral hygiene?
It's not. It's probably like about the same as yours. You know, maybe once a day. Or no, always once a day, not maybe once a day.
Back that one up a little bit.
Yeah, no. Every
flossing?
morning. Occasionally, I've actually just started getting back into it, and my gums are not happy about it.
Well, so I'm just comparing mine to my wife because, like I said, she's very good at it, but she gets cavities, and as far as I'm not very good at it, and I don't. And so the dentist even said, "You got something going on. It's not like a full cavity." I'm like, well, let's fill that thing. I want to have an appointment where I go in and get a cavity filled just to make my wife feel a little better.
That's so nice.
I think it brightened her day when I called her and said, guess what I got? I got a cavity, sort of.
In your head, half cavity.
I've never flossed in my life. From the internet, these are people who have won the genetic lottery. It's not all appearance-based. Like, say, Josh's example of having, never had a cavity. Here's someone who has no reaction at all to mosquito bites.
Dude.
I want to be this person.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh, man, I was just thinking this last night as I had trouble falling asleep because of all the mosquito bites I have.
Oh, you got torn to shreds recently?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Mowing.
Oh.
No.
Got me. And to the point where I got mad at a particular mosquito. Not cool, mosquito. Got me real good, and it wouldn't leave me alone.
And do you just itch and you itch and
Oh, boy, yeah.
I've mentioned this before. Mosquitoes almost never come anywhere near me, and I don't know why. But this particular person says, yes, they feel the bite, but there's no reaction at all. Here's an individual who never grew those damned wisdom teeth.
Oh, God, that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I had to get all 4 removed. That
Did
was
you get the
awful.
dry sockets?
Yeah, the dry sockets. That was one of the worst things ever.
Yeah, I had one of those.
I remember it being so much pain, almost like I was hallucinating. It was awful.
I had it very easy when it came to those wisdom teeth. I've heard some horror stories.
Uncle Bitch Jesus said, I'm 46, I can eat anything and never gain a pound. I got a buddy he's about your age, and same type of thing.
Why did he ask us about...
much like that.
But wait a minute, what did he say now?
He's 46 and he can eat anything and not gain a pound.
Did he ever get back to us on why he asked us about his bunghole? That's the same guy who earlier said, do you feel threatened by my bunghole? And I said, get back to us and explain why you would ask. Did he ever get back?
I thought that was a reference to Beavis and Butthead. Maybe not.
That's what I thought, too.
Oh,
Cornholio
here
thing.
he said, considering the amount of coffee I consume, you should feel threatened by my bunghole. I don't know what he's talking about. But anyway, he's 46 and never gained a pound. That's something to say.
Boundary Rat Jesus said, my wife got her first cavity at 25. I got mine at 13. You can tell who's the fat one in this relationship. You're not fat.
Here's something that we cover now and again on this program. Sleep habits, sleep problems. How has this individual won the genetic lottery? They inherited the sleep button gene. When I want to fall asleep, I just do. I haven't struggled with falling asleep more than 10 times in my entire lifetime. That would be wonderful.
I would do anything for that.
I think I have that, but here's the twist, is that sometimes I have trouble staying asleep. So, but I could fall asleep, I think, in the middle of a freeway. Yeah.
Jealous.
If I'm not woke up by getting run over by a Mitsubishi, I would just wake up anyways.
Yeah, we all have our own little sleep issues. I mean, again, for me, during the day, I could sleep through anything. At night, it's a stinking battle. A woman in her 50s says her boobs are still perfect, no sagging, no stretch marks, no nothing.
Oh, I wonder what she's done.
Plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a woman who does not grow leg hair.
Oh, that would be cool. That's such an inconvenience.
You hairless sumbitches
You ever
are.
just let it go?
Every once in the winter.
Like in the winter, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of the hairless. Have been since the first day I grew bush.
I'm mostly hairless.
I'm jealous of the hairless.
I also very rarely have to trim my toenails. Do you guys have to do that very much? Almost never.
Like maybe once a month.
Oh, really? That much? I'm probably like 3 times a year.
Oh, wow.
Dang,
They
dude.
just don't grow in.
My fingernails grow super fast.
Yeah, mine do too.
That's
super
good.
fast.
That means you're healthy.
But that's because I'm a vampire.
My old bro Curtis.
There's that.
Curtis. Hairless as the day he was born. I'm jealous of that. And my toenails, for Christ's sake. Get out a bandsaw when you want to try to. It's just.
Safety goggles.
Never had a hangover. And it's not as if they're, non-drinkers. This individual on the topic of what is it about you where you think you've won the genetic lottery. Been blacked out drunk before, still no hangover. Wow.
I thought I was immune until I turned 30, and that changed it.
I wonder if you're like super healthy, if that helps because your body can like metabolize it faster.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I know some super healthy people, and I know you're probably saying, what? I do. They're females. I know a couple of gals who are these health food crazed workout 6 times a day morons that want to live forever, right? And I've seen them get drunk and they feel just as bad as the rest of us do the next day. I don't know. Everybody's different.
Somebody's asking me, I thought you had a pee in your sleep button. I used to have a pee in my sleep button.
Yeah, you've urinated in a bed or two.
I mean, multiple times a night in multiple beds.
Multiple zip codes.
But again, only through high school. People are acting like it's weird. That's all it was, just through high school.
Another genetic freak says, no man in my family has ever lost any of their hair on either sides of the family.
Now that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So lucky.
Watch him be the first one.
Yeah, that would suck.
In my whole life, another individual said, I've only had 3 zits.
Oh.
Anybody here super zitty? I never was, thankfully.
I had it bad.
Did you?
I always felt so bad.
I mean, I certainly had more than 3. I had one buddy in particular that, he had to go to special doctors, had face scrapings and all kinds of stuff.
That was my brother's thing, and he hated me because I didn't get bad acne. And I guess actually one of my something that I've won the genetic lottery about is that I don't get body acne.
Oh, I get back knee.
Oh!
Yeah. And then
Does your mom take care of it?
No. But then, sometimes you, reach back to scratch yourself and you just nick it. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, my gosh. That sounds unpleasant.
Oh, it hurts.
One of my buddies growing up was just a zit farm, and his mom would take care of his back knee for him.
There's people that love popping other people's zits.
No, I know. We're not talking about that.
But the people in my life, they're all girls. I've never met a guy that likes doing that for other people.
I've met one.
You have?
Yep.
To the point where they'll just approach someone and do it without even asking.
Those people will end up in prison for murder someday. I want to pop someone else's zit. You must be a maniac to think that way. A maniac.
Oh, someone else's pus all over
No.
you?
Don't say the word.
More anxiety than Hair Jesus says he gets butt-knee.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I don't know if I've ever had butt-knee.
No.
Otherwise known as ass-knee. Yeah, a couple of my best bros back in high school. They had zits. And their zits had zits on top of them. And they also, like Josh described, they had to go to the doctor and get their face steamed or whatever. I don't know. It was a nightmare.
It looked painful.
I had to go to the dermatologist a couple times. They give you this this facial stuff that's so powerful, then it just completely dries out your face. So then you just have a dry pimple face. I don't think this has made it any better.
Kim K uses salmon sperm.
Oh, that's
too bad. Too bad he didn't think about that back then.
I have to say, Dana, that my 2 bros with the pizza face problem back in school. They never looked much better after they went to their little face shaving or whatever. They never.
I noticed sometimes they were more red.
They looked worse. They looked. Yeah, you have no zits, I guess, for now. But you look like you were you in a fire last night? What happened? They tried like hell, but and eventually, of course, they grew out of it or whatever. But
Skateboard Pete Jesus likes popping zits. He likes to go ahead and pop someone's zits.
Yeah, well then, Skateboard Pete, I'll write to you in C block after you murder an innocent person. I'm telling you, there's something, you cannot be interested in that kind of thing unless you have some kind of grotesque interest in the insides of other people.
If we haven't ruined breakfast enough already, this one particular friend I was telling you about, his mirror looked like a starry night. It was just covered.
Oh my gosh, no.
How could you say that?
Well, like I said, I was trying to think of a way to absolutely ruin breakfast, and I think mission accomplished.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh, you just made you made me make a face that I almost never have to make. I almost spit up on my keyboard here. Some of you have won the genetic lottery. Text us. Tell us what's special about you. Why do you think you've won the genetic lottery, huh, Mr. Perfect? Randy Orton never had a zit in his whole life.
Is that right?
Yeah. That was one of the funniest bits. Was that in the Wapple? We've talked about this before, right? That was one of the funniest bits I've ever seen on WWF, now WWE Wrestling. There was a stretch of time when Randy Orton first hit the scene where when he would enter the ring, the graphics people in the truck there at WWF would flash some kind of interesting statistic about Randy Orton. So he'd just be walking towards the ring, and you'd see on your television, Randy Orton was 7.5 pounds when born. I mean, that was the gimmick for a while. They would just flash some fun fact about Randy Orton. And one night I'm watching, here he is, Randy Orton, and he's walking down the ring, and my television little graphic popped up, and it said, Randy Orton has never had a zit.
That's good.
Those were the great days of television wrestling.
This person said they won the genetic lottery because they've never gotten poison ivy. I haven't either, but that's just because I'm an avid indoorsman.
It's by design.
Yeah, not a lot of that happens indoors.
I don't think I ever had poison ivy, and we grew up rolling around in the woods. You know what I mean? But I'm allergic. I don't. Whatever the case may be.
I guess for me, I've never broken a bone.
Well, that's not a genetic thing. That's just you're just lucky.
Yeah. Have you taken a hit that should have broken an average guy's bone?
I feel like I have. Getting stepped on in hockey with skates and stuff like that.
Well, yeah,
on my ankle.
Wapple, you're a lucky man. I don't think that doesn't quite have to do with your genetics.
And you drink your milk too.
Oh, I drink so much milk.
I've been beaten into oblivion a few times, and I guess does the nose count? That one dude broke my nose for me.
That counts, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bone there.
Here's a gentleman that can have multiple orgasms.
Oh, wow.
That's like back to back, dude. That's sick.
It didn't say the time frame, but yeah, multiple, maybe in one session.
Wow.
I got a buddy that said he did that not too long ago.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, what are we talking about?
Like a gentleman with a very short refractory period and can go and go and go.
Well, if you're under 30, I'm not impressed.
Didn't say how old they are.
Yeah.
But my friend's older. He's over 40.
Oh.
That's the only time it's ever happened to him.
I'm impressed.
Here's the deal. Like I mentioned, she's a Wednesday morning. You're a great crowd. We'll get Randy Shaver in the mix a little bit later. And I see the text coming in. We'll check on the text machine. Come back here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
The Rolling Stone Music Now podcast gets inside the biggest stories with Rolling Stone senior writer Brian Hyatt, Snoop Dogg, and Lotto.
Let me give you one of my secrets. I remain the biggest kid in the room at all times. There's a kid in you can't believe that. Look at where you at. Keep making it about fun.
Yeah, we blessed to be able to do a job that's like fun.
There's two funds that's the most important funds in the world. Funds that you make off of the fun that you have.
Rolling Stone Music Now, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, a little earlier on this morning, we were talking about you genetic freaks. Holler if you hear me. We were talking about what makes you think you won the genetic lottery. Something about the way you're built. Something about the way you operate. To where you think you might have won the genetic lottery. We covered a lot. Here's a few text messages that came my way. Text messages is what I tried to say. Here's a listener who says, my wife won the genetic lottery and so did I. She gets drunk after one drinky.
Oh.
Jeez.
That's cheap.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Save a lot of money.
I mean, some people might give you crap for that, but I think, like you said, Dana, you save some money. Not to mention the carbs and calories.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
I didn't think of that part.
That's a good point.
One genetic freak texted in earlier and bragged about how they never grew any wisdom teeth at all. Never had to deal with the wisdom teeth gimmick. Here's a listener, Lake Elmo firefighter Jesus, said his son grew 6 wisdom teeth. Another listener texted in to say that they grew 7 of them. I didn't know that was possible.
Me either.
Yeah.
No.
Just on, I mean, you're on laughing gas for months, I would imagine, if you have that problem. A listener also said, I'm the only person in my family, relatives included, I'm the only one without glasses.
Oh.
No one else can see dick. This guy, no glasses. I was the last in my family to need, what's the medical term?
Bifocals?
Well, no. Optical, who needed help with optical, what's the fancy word for eyes and such?
Well, yeah,
All right.
you're right there.
I'm close enough.
Yeah.
Only person in the family, relatives included, without glasses. Oh, and I mentioned that I have no ass. I don't know how that came up again. How did that come up again?
I don't know.
But anyway, I was talking about how I have no ass. I'm the son of a trucker. I'm not alone. One listener texted in a guy, and he said, you're not the only one who looks like a frog when they stand up. I never thought of it that way, but that is. I do look like a frog when I stand up.
You look like a fraud when you... I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Frog.
Frog.
Yes. Right.
Why didn't you say that?
I did say it.
I don't think so, but go ahead.
Look like a fraud.
You know, when you stand up, you look like a fraud.
Yeah. Right,
you know the old saying.
Yeah. Here we go. Stupid news. For starters, this here sounds like the setup to a joke you might have heard at a bar 30 years ago. Did you guys hear about the one-legged man who was out mowing the lawn?
Nope.
A by God one-legged fella was arrested for mowing his lawn while drunk. Oh, and he also had a loaded firearm on him. This wacky-ass scene cut loose in a place called Ross County, Ohio. Sounds like an aggravating county to live in.
Yeah, you don't like anything Ross, that's for sure.
So the local cops got a call about a suspicious person with one leg cutting someone's grass while possibly intoxicated. It's a very detailed call, because that's exactly what was going on. When the cops got over there, they found a dude by the name of Randy Kingsland swinging around up and down the lawn on an old Craftsman rider.
Sweet.
Yeah, I got one of those.
I remember sitting on those at Sears, dreaming.
Yep.
Just sitting and dreaming.
You could come over to my place, Cubby, and live that dream out yourself. By God, you can. Randy Kingsland mowing a lawn up and down on an old Craftsman. He was holding an empty bottle of hooch in one hand, and he had a leg off. Not freshly severed, but he had a leg off. Says here, Randy had somebody's purse out there, and he possibly dropped it on the ground and mowed over it on purpose. I'm going to take a guess, some kind of ceremonial statement he was making there. And once the cops started rapping with old Randy, it was obvious that he was canned. He was put under arrest for operating a vehicle while impaired and for hauling around that weapon I was telling you about while intoxicated. He got a ticket for that, too. Bad day for one-legged Randy. I hope he has some better times in the near future, old Randy.
When you're riding around on your Craftsman, are you ever packing?
Oh, God. 8 times out of 10, probably.
Oh, really? That's
it? Yeah.
You never know what you're going to encounter when you're mowing your lawn.
Oh, in my neighborhood, you never know.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
When you're using that Craftsman, do you each time you mow, do you do a different direction?
No.
Oh, same thing.
I don't fall for that gimmick. It's funny. It's funny how that comes up quite often when lawn mowing becomes part of the conversation. Someone always asks about your pattern. I follow the same pattern every effing time. I use the same pattern on my lawn. You might find this interesting, Josh. Same pattern on my lawn that I used when I was a Zamboni driver.
Oh, actually, that makes sense.
I follow the same pattern. Yeah. There's a big stupid...
Do you wave like you would if you're driving a Zamboni?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm a pretty good neighbor like that. Sure. Changing my pattern might be fun and maybe kill the monotony of the task at hand, but you got to remember, I got these big, fat, stupid trees. You know, I hate those trees. I got them all over the place, so I kind of have to keep the same pattern or I'll be crashing into trees all day long.
You get a little dizzy riding around those things?
I've made myself dizzy a time or two. Yeah, when I drop her into high gear.
I miss my riding lawnmower. When I lived in Wisconsin, I had a riding lawnmower, and I used to be the one to mow the lawn, and I would do a different pattern every time, Josh. I would mix it up.
You lost it in the divorce?
Yeah.
It's tough.
When you lived in Wisconsin, you had a riding lawnmower, and you had the nicest vehicle in town.
Oh, that poor car. Rest in peace to that car.
Well, no, that was a joke.
It was a joke about the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a joke about how crappy my car was, because it was.
No, I don't remember your car.
I like that joke.
You did?
Yeah.
Josh? Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was good. I wish our coworkers understood jokes.
It went over my head.
No, they're dumb. Josh said.
My stupid small head.
Do you have a small head?
I think I have an average-sized head.
I've always kept a lot of beer in the house. I have. If I get under 3 cases, I start to get nervous.
Is that true?
Yeah.
It's just because having buddies over?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to be a good host.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And I want... The friggin' wife, you've met her, right?
Yep.
She doesn't understand all the beer I need to keep in 2 separate fridges. And I always tell her, you never know when something might cut loose. I've always found it interesting visiting people's homes that don't follow that line of thinking. You stop by and they say, oh, I'm out of beer. Or they say, oh, I think I might have a beer or 2 here in the fridge. What the hell's the matter with you? I think to myself, how do you even allow that to happen? If I get under 3 cases, I get nervous and I make my way out to the liquor store.
I got to say, so I do have a couple of beers in the fridge, mostly for show. If I'm ever on Cribs or something like that, I want people to think I'm cool. But I get embarrassed sometimes, like if somebody's over and all I have is like Diet Pop and Gatorade Zero. I think they're going to judge me like I don't have the fully leaded stuff.
Well,
I mean, it's going to be a downer.
Especially if it's manly men.
Yeah. You don't have any Do Heavy in the house?
Right. Well, I want just syrup.
Yeah.
Get that carbonated water out of there.
Is there any aspect of your daily life where you don't assume that you're being judged, Josh?
Boy, okay, as I sit here feeling judged about my upcoming answer.
Oh, man.
Yes, and I knew that question
Well, that was a judgy question.
Was that a judgy question?
A little bit.
I'm just curious about, are you ever able to relax and say to yourself, okay, no one is judging me, no one is looking for my flaws or anything like that?
Now, I'm sure there's probably a time.
Okay. Yeah. I keep a lot of beer around. And I think after this story, maybe some of you will be inspired.
So, truly, if you have less than 3, I'm sorry, did you say 12?
3 cases.
3 cases, that's 24.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Whatever 24 times 3 is, I don't know.
But yeah, so less than 3 cases, you get nervous.
I get a little squirrely and think, okay, I better get my ass out to the liquor store. Yeah.
I think you inspired me, not because I don't want someone to come over and me not have beer.
Well, what do you have in the house right now?
Right now?
Yes. And we're just talking beer.
Nothing.
But you're not a beer drinker, are you?
Well, she drinks hooch.
Yeah, you're like. Do you have a lot of liquor or those seltzers everybody seems to like?
No, I actually don't have anything because I'm usually like we're drinking tonight. Okay, well, go to the liquor store and then we'll finish what we bought, usually in a day or 2.
But I still say, okay, fine, you're a hooch drinker, but still, beer is that common drink, the most common, social drink is beer
or coffee. I mean, on the other.
God, I never think
true.
about. I guess I'm talking about. I guess
you're talking about more of a party.
Yeah, folks coming over to hang out, watch a game. Wapple, how much beer do you, and be honest, how much beer do you have in the house right now?
Oh, I just moved. I think I got maybe 12 beers. And
Dana,
then
how many
10
beers?
seltzers, and then always 2 bottles.
We're not talking about hooch. We're talking about beer. Dana, how many beers do you have in the house right now?
Probably about a case and a half.
Oh, for God's sake, thank God.
I didn't think you liked beer.
Yeah, I mean, I always have some on hand, but I don't typically drink beer.
Now I want to give you an opportunity. Were you trying to sound cool?
No, I'll show you a picture when I get home if you want.
Because no, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
After he goes to the liquor store.
That's a good point.
The receipt's still in the background. Oh, dang it!
Have your fiance send a picture right now.
Okay.
You could send one right now. No, I really don't care, Dana.
I know you don't.
You seem very defensive.
He doesn't have any beer in the house.
The only reason I do is because my stepson left it there. So I've got a handful. And
I don't get it. I would go nuts.
I'll have to pick up a case of beer.
And you know what it is? If I show up at your house and you don't have a beer, it's rude. You're being rude.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to be rude.
This is so funny. Okay, I just remembered something. Take a look at my reminders list. Here.
You make yourself a reminders list?
Look at the first one.
Okay. Ditch beer?
I was going to get rid of it.
You're gonna throw it away.
Yeah, do you want it?
Well, how long has it been sitting there, for Christ's sake?
Oh, I'm going to say since Christmas.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot that was on my list.
Can I read
Dana, I know you like receipts.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. What? I'm sorry, what?
Can I read, and trust me, I'll leave out any shady stuff. Can I read your entire to-do list? How often do you make yourself a little to-do list?
Oh, constantly. And this is, I have several different lists. Like, this is just a reminder one.
Reminder
so
list.
Yeah.
Wow.
That I actually have completed a lot on that list, so there's not a ton.
Boy, I'm judging the hell out of this list.
See, I
Are you serious? This is real?
Yeah.
You have a list, a chart here. Things to do today, things to do in the next 7 days, and then another category labeled future.
Yeah. It does that automatically. I mean, it sets that up when you put the date in.
Can I read some of these?
Sure, it's boring, but go ahead, yeah.
Okay, Scheels. On your list, it says Scheels.
Yeah, my new favorite store,
Dude,
or one of them. You know why? I'm going to buy you the sweatshirt I'm wearing right now.
Oh, you have a wonderful new Goldie Gopher sweatshirt. Don't buy me a sweatshirt.
I'm going to buy you a sweatshirt.
You always buy me things.
It's already on the list. There's nothing I can do.
It's because you want to. It's because he wants me.
Do you get on the Ferris wheel at Shields, Josh?
No, I'm a grown man.
Right. On his future list, change keyboard and mouse.
Charge.
Wapple song.
Yeah, those are a couple of days that I thought, Wapple, you did a really, really good job on your song. So I marked them down. We wanted to use them for intros.
And I want to read these exactly the way they are stated on Josh's, what did you call it? Not a to-do list. You called it a...
That's like a reminder
list. This is the way...
Because I've got like other ones for to-do stuff.
This is the way this next one reads. New insurance? You thinking about getting some new insurance?
My goal is to evaluate my insurance needs. Yes.
Seal tile. When did you get a seal?
No. To seal the tile.
That's really interesting. So daily you update this activities. I already forgot how you called it again.
Yeah, reminders. So it's like you saw, like I have work-related ones. You left those ones out.
Wow.
But yeah, just...
Well, no wonder you're such an organized effing guy.
I'm not going to add Dana's mom to my to-do list. Better than Dana at Mario Kart. Jesus.
Yeah, because you already remember to do that on a daily basis. You don't need to have a phone remind you of that.
Box tossing Jesus wants to come to Shields with me. Let's go. But you got to get Nick something. When I go to Shields, I try and get him something.
Please don't buy me anything. You're always buying me gifts. Look, I'm probably already going to bang you.
Well, I've been told that is my love language. Yeah, seeing something, thinking of someone, and getting him.
Well, you're too kind. All right, we started this whole mess by talking about keeping beer in the house. It's the neighborly, friendly thing to do. Be prepared when people come over. I don't have any beer. Oh, I think I might have one or two. It's just rude.
But we do snacks. Does that count? I mean, we're just not drinkers.
Snacks don't count.
But what if we're not drinkers?
Just keep some beer in the house. I've got buckets of horrible tasting alcohol just in case a booze drinker comes to my house. I wouldn't use this stuff to clean a wound, but I keep it there for booze drinkers. I wouldn't know how to mix a drink if you put a gun to my head, but I've got it in the house. Be a good neighbor. Be a good American. Keep beer in the house, and lots of it.
Well, I've got like a big, huge box of a variety of chips.
That's sweet.
Oh, like the little fun-size bags?
That's right. And then, I brought in these muffins and the donuts and stuff like that. Can I get a free pass?
Treats are wonderful, but keep some beer in the house.
Lake Street Handshake, Jesus, I am not cheating on Fleet Farm with Shields. Not at all. They're very different to me. Very different.
Oh.
Love them both.
Those are two total separate relationships.
They are. And I'm actually kind of pissed at everyone in the listening audience, all of you, for not telling me about Shields. I just discovered them a couple months ago.
I thought you just knew that Shields was awesome. I'm sorry, Josh.
It's probably one of those things I should have known, but it's incredible.
Listen to this text message by John Deere Jesus. Is stupid news ever going to start? Shut up and send us naked women pictures, will you? Do what...
That's what... He's very good at that.
Yeah, stick with what you're good at. Send us pictures of scantily clad women, will you, John Deere Jesus? We're having fun. We're talking about beer and hubby's dorky to-do list.
He's so judgy. So judgy.
That's it.
We're not
going to do the stupid news now, just to piss off John Deere Jesus. Send me bikini pictures. I'm sorry I blew up John Deere Jesus. I don't like being yelled at over the text machine. He used all caps.
Yeah, that's it. That is yelling. That's aggressive, right?
I don't work for you.
Yeah, that's very aggressive.
You're not the boss of me. Send me pictures of girls with big asses.
Guy doesn't even know what a tan line is. Remember, we're talking about tan lines. He's sending a bunch of pictures, not one tan line in there. He doesn't even know what that's all about.
A bunch of hot chicks.
Keep a lot of beer in the house. You never know when you might need it. In Scilly, New Zealand. Neighbor, thank you, John Deere Jesus. There he is. That's what you do.
Who is that? Wow. Gorgeous. Whoever that is.
Yeah, no
Is
kidding.
that someone famous?
I never
Or is
never
that him?
saw.
Maybe that's John Deere Jesus.
Look at the dumper. All right. In, how did I say it again? Stupid New Zealand. Neighborhood folks use beer to help put out a fire at a local bar. A local volunteer firefighter called Ian Mulholland. He was heading home from work the other night when he saw flames. He saw that the neighborhood bar was afire. He stopped and checked to make sure nobody was in there. And then he called the New Zealand version of 911. They call it 111, which is stupid. By the time firefighters got there, though, a couple minutes went by. I think he said 10 minutes went by from the time he made the call to when the fire department showed up. The fire was already almost out, thanks to some quick-thinking local drunks. Locals got bottles of beer from the bar, I assume, that was on fire, cracked them open, shook them, and put the fire out. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fire department handled the rest. No one's sure how the fire started. It's under, investigation. Word is, the local beer drinkers, had they not jumped into the mix when they did, the joint would have burned down to the screws. The beer drinkers do want the fire department to buy them some fresh Steve Weisers.
Heck yeah,
they do.
that.
What were you going to say, Josh?
This seems very Canadian, doesn't it? Or very Wisconsin, not necessarily New Zealand.
Yeah, they, I'll agree with you. One of the firefighters, this is funny. One of the firefighters said that one of the beer-bellied heroes dumping beer on the flames looked pretty upset while he was doing it.
It hurts.
Like it was breaking his heart.
I bet.
The owner of the joint thanked the drunks for helping avoid what could have been a disastrous fire, they say. We'll be back open, the owner said, as soon as we're able with cold beer. That is a wonderful story, a heroic story.
That's pretty funny. You would be especially qualified to put out a fire. I
absolutely would.
I couldn't put out a very big fire with like the 6 beers I've got.
You could handle an ashtray that's smoking a little too much.
Yeah, that's about it.
My house is burning down.
Sorry, Ashley. I'm of no help whatsoever.
I can't believe you said that. I asked Ashley, how much beer do you have in the house right now? She said none.
I know.
That surprises me. I know you're not a big beer drinker, but that does surprise me.
I'll fix that.
That reminds me, years ago, we were all heading off to the Golden Gopher basketball game, me and a bunch of pals. The radio station hooked us up with a suite at Willem Arena for the Golden Gopher basketball game. And a couple of our sales folks were in charge of stocking it with drinks and snacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the sales lady, Beth, who I ran into recently.
Oh, I love Beth. I miss her.
Yeah, she retired. Ran into her a few weeks ago. It was great to see her again. She made a colossal mistake when the Willem Arena representative called Beth and said, "Hi, what do you want for drinks in the suite tonight for the radio station?" And her answer, "Mostly pop."
Oh, no.
And we busted her balls about that for years because we all walked into the suite, we're going to get drunk. And there was a 6-pack of Miller Lite and then a pile of Sprite and Coke. We went to Beth and said, "Well, what did you tell?" "Oh, I told them mostly pop." I said, "What do we look like, 5th graders?"
I was looking at Wapple during that story because I know, Wapple, you've hosted a lot of sweet events and you get berated by folks that there's not any beer in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, more or less when the beer runs out.
Yeah.
Then they get pissed.
Big trouble.
Yeah, then they're like, "All right, Wapple, bring out your wallet." I'm like, "No.
I know. Yeah.
I did not pay for
Sweet
this.
beer prices?
Yeah,
sure.
I did not pay
So
for this.
expensive.
All of a sudden, 6 beers for $200.
Are you talking about those situations? Yeah, in a suite, it's it's advertised as a free beer situation, right? And which it is.
Yep.
But if you drink all the damn beer, hell, then we got to actually pay for it. You know, there's a quota there or whatever the term.
It's not all you can drink free beer.
No.
It's just free beer.
And, you know, if you go through 10 of them, hell, I think you've gotten a pretty good deal, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting in a suite for free, and you've had 10 free beers. Don't come bitching to us when number 11 isn't on the shelf.
Yeah, the idea of you opening your wallet, I mean, if you buy pretzels in the suite, that's 2 months of a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
And now, back to our sales department. I'm not gonna sell this guy out and say his name. But I was in that situation years ago where we had a suite party for a ball game. Yes, it was free beer, but it just so happened this crowd sucked down a lot of beer. And before the game was over, we were out of beer. Okay, it happens. And a bunch of people got all pissy about it. And so, you know what? I wasn't entirely sure how to handle the situation. I didn't know if we were really out of beer or maybe there's someone I could call, right? I wasn't completely sure. I called the sales rep here from the radio station. And I said, yeah, here's the deal. You know, it's the 7th inning or whatever, but yet we're already out of beer. And he said, tell those sons of bitches that every seat they're sitting in costs $350. If they're going to complain about the beer, they can kiss my ass.
You don't even have to say who the salesperson is. I now know who that salesperson is.
And I said, okay, I'm not going to tell the listeners exactly that, but I will pass the message on. Yeah. I get a kick out of that. Well, you said free beer. All right, dude, you had a 12-pack. And exactly, the seat you're sitting in is $300. Oh, we're sorry we let you down.
Big Dimples, she just said no beer at home there because she's preventing uninvited drop-inners from coming over. Did I say Big Dimples? Back Dimples, sorry. Back Dimples, Jesus.
I like the uninvited
That's a
drop-ins.
good strategy, yeah.
I mean, I can see how after a while, people dropping in constantly can be aggravating. Where am I now?
So stupid news, huh?
Well, that was all stupid news.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You're stupid, but that's not news. I didn't mean that.
Is that what you mean?
I didn't mean that.
Just call back from what he said. Start the stupid news.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's made up for it. John Deere Jesus bitched earlier that we weren't hammering him with stupid news information when he thought it was most convenient for him. He's made up for it by sending in multiple pictures of scantily clad women with big fat dumpers.
Yep. He even sent a GIF. That's nice.
In Nebraska, a dude got himself pinched for speeding. He was going damn near 120 miles per hour in a 65 like a friggin' idiot. And he told the cops that he was going like hell because he wanted to get some chicken strips from the folks at Raising Cane's.
Oh, those are good chicken strips.
Yeah, they are.
The dumb bastard told the cops he was in a hurry to get home, but first he needed to make a stop at Raising Cane's to get some of them chicken strips. He got a ticket for careless driving, for dialing it up to 118 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone.
Okay, they're not that good at chicken strips.
Well, no chicken strips are. Yeah, I wonder, how it goes nowadays, right? Let's say, thank God nobody got injured or whatever, but if there's a lawsuit ever, if Raising Cane's has to put in the end of their advertisement, please don't speed to get to one of our restaurants, with all the stupid disclaimers and things people have to do because of stupid people like this. Close to 120 miles an hour to get to a restaurant.
I mean, I don't understand how some of yous operate. I just don't. What happened, sir, when you crashed into that school bus and killed 34 children in a ball of fire? Well, I was on my way to get some chicken strips. I mean, come on. That could have easily happened. That's what just blows my effing mind. It blows my mind. But I'm an old man now and I drive slow. I don't know. Maybe it's the liquor talking.
You could go between 65 and 118. There's a big window there where, you could drive slower and still not drive slow. You could have went 75 and a 65, 80 and a 65, 118.
I don't. I've had enough of us. I really have. I've had enough of us. All right, what the hell? We got to go. So here's a quick one for you. Here's a lady who got arrested for putting a handicap sticker on her car, and there ain't a damn thing wrong with her. That's pretty effing weak right there, bruh. I believe she got herself a prime parking spot at the grocery store, though, with her fake handicap sticker.
Who cares?
Josh, I know your uncle had a great story along those lines, right?
Yeah, my uncle, he's a quadriplegic. Made a bad choice behind the wheel, speaking of that, and he ended up in a wheelchair the rest of his life. And he's still alive, I should say. He got tired of seeing people park in handicap spots that didn't deserve, that's the wrong way to phrase it, that shouldn't have been there, right? And so one time, and he's never said anything after all these years, decades of being in a chair. Never said anything. The one time he did.
You mean like never complained?
Never like called somebody out.
Oh.
Never said a word. He'd see it. He'd certainly be frustrated, and this built up. And so finally, he's getting out of his van. He sees a guy pull in. Clearly, nothing wrong with him that he can tell. And he just berates him. He went off. And he's got a temper.
Son of a bitch, parking in the handicap spot.
Oh, yeah. He went nuts. Just went nuts, and he's feeling pretty good. Finally, I taught somebody a lesson, and then he sees the guy get out with prosthetic legs.
Oh!
Like the not the ones that look like legs where you can clearly tell it's legs, right? Prosthetics. And so he felt like the world's biggest douchebag. The one time he ever goes off on something.
I'd hate myself.
And he mentioned it was even worse because the guy just kind of looked at him like, oh, I got something to show you. And when he got out of the vehicle and...
I bet that dude with the fake legs took his time getting out,
heck
too.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk some trash?
Yeah, probably never breaking eye contact.
Oh, yeah. Let your uncle get all the insults out before he steps out with his prosthetic. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Easily the biggest news in the video game world this week is that EA Sports College Football 25 was available to play Monday if you got the deluxe version. The standard edition you'll be able to play on Friday. Hype over the video game has gotten so big that Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes said he brought a TV into training camp with him just so he could play the game. In video game news for people who like children's games like Dana, dragged. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed is a video game follow-up to last year's TMNT Mutant Mayhem animated film, and it's just dropped its first trailer for the game, and there's also a release date too.
Totally ridiculous, dude.
Mutant Mayhem is a third-person action platformer game, and each turtle features a unique playstyle. The game also supports up to 2-player local co-op, and you can get a copy of the game on any platform October 18th. Listen every Wednesday and we'll give you some more video game updates.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It's this ball hard, way back to right field. Soto doesn't even move. Ohtani has homered in the All-Star game.
Yeah, he did that. Shohei Ohtani, he did hit a dong in the All-Star game. The Midsummer Classic, they call it, Cubby.
Nice.
And the American League Ball Club, they beat the National Leaguers 5-3. And I'm sure both ball clubs are happy to know that they never have to wear those god-awful uniforms ever again.
It's so bad.
It's just unnecessary.
Too creative, maybe, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Sometimes when people are too creative, it gets rough.
You know what? I read something that the commissioner, Mr. Manfred Sinjensen, he did address some questions about how just disgusting those uniforms were. He did say something about how they're going to look into changing. Stop trying to market jerseys to the teenage kids. Stop trying to be different. Stop trying to be original. Just let the friggin' players wear their regular uniforms. That was just obscene last night is what it was. It was obscene.
When I first saw a photo of them, I thought it was like a Photoshop, like a joke or something. I'm like, there's no way those are the real ones.
I do like it when they wear their own uniforms.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It looks good, and also, I mean...
Sometimes you don't know, right?
Yeah.
If you're not a big baseball fan, you like to watch just something like this.
I've had this problem for the last few years. Sure, there are plenty of players out there I'm not terribly familiar with. They get out onto the mound, they get up to the plate. you have to search their uniforms to find the logo is how you say it, of the team that they play for.
And they even have, they had 32 new All-Stars this year, too. So it's like you always hear these names, but then you're like, well, dang, I didn't know he played for the Pirates or the Orioles.
But it's the same problem in all the 4 major sports. We constantly have to be tweaking the uniforms to make a few extra bucks. And
yeah, you're right. That's what they want to do, right? Sell them.
And I know some of you are like, who cares about the uniform? Okay, there's a line that you cross, and Big League Baseball crossed it last night. It was repulsive and stupid and everything in between. It was great, by the way. Side note, we'll get more into this. Not a hell of a lot you got to talk about. It's the All-Star Game. It was a nice event. We all enjoy it. One side note, Carlos Correa didn't even play, but they still booed him when his name was announced. That's hilarious. That's awesome. He just when he was announced, he's not even going to play. His foot is broken or something. And the crowd still went, boo, you cheating bastard.
That's funny.
We got to take a break. Josh's News is next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
Every week, Michael Rosenbaum is getting deep with someone new on the Inside of You podcast.
Let's get inside of Kevin Smith. I can go to a movie and enjoy it, and I'm never like, I could have done that better.
Really?
Never. I started as a fan. I'll finish as a fan. And the difference between this iteration of Kevin Smith at age 53 and the one that most people met at the beginning of my career, back then, I would have told you all the movies that I hate, and here are the reasons why they suck. And you would never hear that from me today.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
This case is about every child exposed to social media today. They urged people to post videos of themselves eating the poisonous chip on TikTok and other social media platforms, which subjected our children to being brainwashed into thinking that eating the chip was somehow cool.
A lawsuit was filed last week in the case of a Massachusetts teen who died after participating in the Spicy Tortilla Chip Challenge that was widely promoted on social media. The 10th grader died last fall after eating the chip as part of the manufacturer's One Chip Challenge, which called for participants to eat the chip and then see how long they could go without consuming other food or water. An autopsy said the 14-year-old had an enlarged heart and a congenital defect, but the family's lawyer was adamant that that had nothing to do with the death. The chip is what killed him, the lawyer said. One of the defendants, a Texas-based subsidiary of the Hershey Co., has expressed its sadness about the young man's fate, but also cited the chip's, quote, clear and prominent label, highlighting that the product was not for children or anyone sensitive to spicy foods or with an underlying health condition like the kid had. Mm-hmm. Despite the warning, children had no problem buying the chips, and there have been reports from around the country of teens who got sick after taking part of the chip-eating challenge. Among them were 3 California high school students taken to a hospital, and 7 students in Minnesota who were treated by paramedics after taking part in the challenge in 2022.
Well, that's a touchy situation right there, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It says right on the bag, be careful.
Ashley, you took just a bite of one of those.
Yeah, just a tiny little
And you can
corner.
handle hot stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was absolutely awful. It wasn't even heat. It had no flavor. It was just pain.
Just fire and ouch.
Yeah.
My wife, they did it at her work, and it just messed up her tummy. She can handle super hot stuff, but her tummy was messed up the rest of the day.
And I heard from people, too, that said it messed them up for days.
Really?
Yeah, it took them a long time just to start feeling normal again.
Yeah, when my brother did it, I don't know why he thought it was a good idea because he has GERD, which is where you have bad acid reflux. And he, I thought he was going to pass out for a while. I was a little worried. I thought I had my phone in my hand ready to dial 911.
Oh, God. The real challenge would be a one-chip challenge with a Pringle. Good luck. Good luck.
True.
I'd like the opportunity to mess up your wife's insides. I've never heard of that before. GERD? That's a real thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
my GERD.
Yeah, it's
GERD? I have GERD.
Oh, my GERD.
I have gout. I thought that sounded silly. GERD?
GERD.
That takes the cake.
In India this week, the world's most prolific serial killer nearly struck again. The selfie. A married couple was forced to leap from a train trestle into a 90-foot gorge to avoid an oncoming locomotive that interrupted their scenic selfie attempt. Footage showed the couple diving from the train bridge moments before a huge passenger engine passes over the very spot in which they stood. Witnesses reported the couple was deeply absorbed in taking pictures and creating other content for their social media pages, seemingly completely unaware of the encroaching train until it was nearly too late.
Oh, God.
Though the actual moment of their jump isn't fully seen on screen, it appears they decided to make the dive at the very last moment, just as the train stopped where they were standing. Miraculously, both survived the fall. However, authorities said they sustained grievous injuries in the process.
Ugh. That'll knock the GERD right out of you.
It was just by the grace of GERD they survived.
Yeah.
You can see this video on 93x.com, by the way. The couple's case eerily mirrors what a woman in Mexico City went through when she was struck and killed while trying to take a selfie next to the tracks as the famed locomotive Empress 2816 passed by.
Killed her dead, huh?
Yeah.
It's not good.
No. I mean, it's kind of crazy. They're on this, like, tiny little train track and, over this giant gorge. And they never once thought, what are we going to do if a train comes? It's too far to run on either side. Didn't matter which way the train was coming.
I don't know what folks are doing, Cubby.
Me neither. Metro Transit Police say a man was taken to the hospital late Monday night after he got caught between a light rail train and a platform. Officers were called to the Franklin Avenue station in Minneapolis shortly before 11 p.m. for a report of a collision. When they arrived, they found a man with his legs caught between the platform and the light rail train.
Oh, boy. Ow.
They had to cut away the metal platform to pull the man out. He was taken to the hospital for minor injuries. The circumstances that led to that man getting pinned are not clear.
They didn't have to take either of his legs off or anything like that?
No, luckily they didn't. A lot of us have been drunk, but only a select few can claim they've been performed the Star-Spangled Banner on national TV drunk.
Oh, my Lord.
However, after a widely panned performance of the national anthem at the Home Run Derby Monday, country singer Ingrid Andress is one of those people. As clips of her less than popular rendition at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, made the rounds on social media yesterday, the singer apologized for her performance and said she was drunk. She shared the news in a candid Instagram post where she wrote, "I'm not going to bull S, y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into a facility today to get the help I need." In the pantheon of controversial renditions of the national anthem at sporting events, Roseanne Barr's rendition at a 1990 San Diego Padres game and Fergie's at the 2018 NBA All-Star game resulted in similar reactions.
So this gal was drunk?
I could see having a drink or two. You'd be pretty nervous, even somebody like her who's a performer.
I guess.
I would think you'd be pretty nervous.
Well, she must have been really effing drunk then, because, I mean, how many of us have seen a singer perform drunk? All of them?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're usually great at it.
Yeah.
I was wondering that, like, does she drink before a normal show? Was she doing more than drinking, or?
I'm trying to
think.
It
certainly looked like it. She did not look like she was in the best shape.
No.
Yeah,
when she was out there.
that's what
Like
I
her
was
hair
thinking.
was messy and
She looked
her
sweaty.
eyes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I noticed that too, but I'd never seen her before, so I had no point of reference. It's just, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a singer perform sober. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really. I don't.
So
I don't
she
know if
must
I
have really been tuned up, and no pun intended, to have her perform that badly.
I guess so. I mean, a lot of people came out and said, hey, she's actually a very talented singer, and this was not the norm for her, so maybe there's something to that.
I saw Sammy Hagar a few years ago in concert. There were 20,000 people there, and Sammy Hagar was easily the drunkest person there.
It's all that Cabo Wabo tequila.
And he was absolutely awesome. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if there's more to this story.
Have you watched some of him preparing for his upcoming tour?
No.
Oh, my gosh. He still got it. He still got it.
Where's there a video, or what do you mean, like YouTube?
Yeah, they're filming a lot of the rehearsals. And he sounds great.
Yeah, and he's what, 75?
78 or whatever. He's up there.
Yeah.
Far too often, it seems parents line up in front of news cameras to make excuses for their child's illegal activities. But after a constant stream of that garbage, it's nice to see a parent convince her son to stop running from police and give himself up on live TV. It was in Los Angeles during a televised police chase between cops and two suspects in a stolen Hyundai. Usually they end very differently, like a crash, shootout, or the suspects running away on foot. This time, however, Mom marched right up to the vehicle and had a stern talking to with her son, with news cameras capturing it all. Police wanted the duo to surrender, but they weren't following orders. That's when Mom walked over and gave both boys inside the stolen vehicle an earful. Ultimately, the two suspects, her son and his friend, got out of the Hyundai and surrendered. That was a pretty cool video. Mom set them straight.
Well, you know, the voice, the reasonable voice of a loved one can be a powerful thing. I found that out firsthand when Josh, his voice kept me from probably being put under the prison when I flipped out on that plane ride.
Yeah, that was I've seen you have a few flip outs, but that particular one was especially bad. The timing couldn't have been worse shortly after September 11th.
Had you let's say you had fallen asleep on that airplane and you wouldn't have been able to, talk to me when I was in that state, I likely would have gone to federal prison.
Well, you're exaggerating a little bit.
That's the term, right? Federal, that when you F up on an airplane, they
would put you in a supermax.
So, yeah.
It's a federal offense is what it is, right?
They just dig a hole and leave you down there.
You're exaggerating a little bit. It's not like you challenged the flight attendant to a fight or anything like that.
No, of course not.
Oh, wait a minute. If memory serves, you did.
What?
A woman was arrested after torching vehicles and threatening bystanders with an axe during a violent rampage in the Hollywood Hills over the weekend. Cell phone video captured a sedan being set on fire around 10:30 a.m. Saturday. As the flames continued growing, an explosion occurred, sending dark smoke billowing into the air. The flames eventually spread to a nearby SUV. Witnesses said the suspect ran into an apartment complex where she reportedly attacked a woman with the axe. Then she threatened several bystanders with the weapon as well. The motive behind the fiery rampage remains unclear, and that incident is still under investigation. The Vikings are aware of the situation and are waiting for more information. A Florida man was arrested after an hours-long junk food feast inside a closed Walgreens. Police say the hungry dude indulged in sweets and other various items inside the store for several hours Monday morning.
This guy gets hungry.
Oh, he was starving.
Yeah.
And he's got a decent taste. The store security system went off about 3 a.m., and the alarm company told authorities a man was inside, despite it being closed since 10. Security footage showed the man, Christopher Morgan, enter the Walgreens at 9:40 p.m. and go into the bathroom. He didn't come out until 2:42 a.m. Must have been constipated.
Yeah.
After being in the restroom for nearly 5 hours, police say Morgan began roaming around the store, treating himself to various items such as Tostitos spinach dip, chips, Reese's chocolate, Gardelli chocolate bars, Dr. Pepper, and Newport cigarettes.
What a way to cap it off.
That does all sound pretty good. Hang on a second. He was in the bathroom for 5 hours?
Almost, yeah.
What was he doing?
He must have gone to sleep.
He took a nap, got high. I'm not sure what he did.
Waiting for all the employees to leave?
Yeah, they were gone. I mean, he was in there at 9:40. The employees, they were out by 10:05. They closed at 10. When asked what he was doing in the store after hours, Morgan, who resisted efforts to place him in the patrol car and spit on an officer, said this. I got to warn you, there's a siren in here.
Is there anybody else in there? I don't think so. I don't know. I came in to use the bathroom.
They say, sure, you may have came in to use the bathroom, but you made no attempts to exit the store or call for help to get out.
I'll be damned.
A Twin Cities woman faces dozens of felony charges after authorities say a raid of her residence yielded thousands of illegal pull tabs, scratch-offs, and other games.
Look right out for a Minnesota woman accused of running an illegal gambling operation online. Check out this huge bust. Investigators say this is thousands of illegal pull tabs, scratch-offs, and other games. Detectives also found a rifle and handgun in a home that was accessible to several young children. The woman faces dozens of felony charges.
I got to tell you, I got lost in the beginning there.
Look right out for a Minnesota woman accused of running an illegal gambling gambling operation online. Check out this huge bust.
Yeah, see? I tuned out as soon as he said that. Come on, grow up. That's immature.
Check out this huge bust.
Enough. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office said its new financial crimes unit was able to track down the woman accepting illegal bets on Facebook.
That's a silly way to get in trouble. Almost as silly as freaking out on an airplane on drugs and alcohol and threatening to beat a flight attendant to death.
Allegedly. It appears someone pooped in Burnsville.
Oh, no.
The city temporarily closed the public swimming beach at Crystal Lake due to high levels of E. coli bacteria. No. The beach, which closed yesterday, will reopen once testing shows a return to safe levels of poop, as determined by state guidelines. When testing reveals high levels of bacteria, beaches close to prevent the spread of possible illness.
I went to that beach a lot as a kid. It might explain a lot about who I am today.
Just the poop?
The poop beach.
You think you've been affected by it?
Might be.
Wouldn't be surprised.
And also, it's a beach in Burnsville, so.
Burnsville is bacteria.
Yeah, it is.
That's just all it is.
Yeah, some people might wonder, how do you notice the difference? How do you notice something?
Yeah, Burnsville was founded on a big hill of bacteria.
Bill S. Preston Esquire in the Bill and Ted's movies. Alex Winter, 59. David Hasselhoff, 72. Black Sabbath legend Terry Geezer Butler, 75. Only in America, Jesus texted a shout-out to his buddy Travis, who won the 93X contest to sing with Limp Bizkit last night. Totally killed it.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's what
Sweet.
I've been... Is this up on 93X.com?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I got to watch that.
He didn't have to sing Limp Bizkit, did he?
Yeah, he had to... well, I shouldn't say had to. He had the opportunity to rap a Limp Bizkit song.
Wouldn't that be something if the dude would have got up there and said... Hey, do you guys know any Linkin Park?
Living in the limelight. Just some Rush.
Oh, yeah. You guys know anything better than Limp Bizkit? Oh, you just know Limp Bizkit?
Oh, you are Limp Bizkit.
Oh, Jesus.
This is
I'm embarrassed.
Terribly embarrassing.
Yeah.
Check out this bust. Chipman Jesus wants to thank Electrical Supply Jesus for joining his group. He also wanted to make it known we've got a longtime listener who finally got a Jesus name, and he wants us to tell Fourth and Schlong Jesus his buddy says you're going down this season. We're proud of our friend Crazy Chicken Lady Jesus, 126 days sober today. Congrats. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
We also recovered several gerbils inside his pants.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Here's a high fly ball off of the bat, and Jaron Duran. That one will leave the yard and give the American League its first lead of the night.
The Ted Williams MVP presented by Chevrolet. It's Jaron Duran from the Red Sox. What are you going to do with that? I mean, that's going to look nice in the office, I think, Jaron.
Yeah, I'll probably end up giving it to my dad, and he'll put it in a nice place for me to hold for the season.
Oh, that's just adorable. Let's check in on the ass man, Randy Shaver. Are you back home now, Randy?
Finally, back home, yes.
Back from his 20+24 ball and chain All-American road trip. Welcome back to town. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any problems with hemorrhoids?
No.
Because I hear people say that long road trips, sometimes they come out of a long road trip and they catch hemorrhoids.
Sure.
All the sitting.
Yeah.
As a truck driver, did your dad have that issue?
You know, I never heard him talk about it. If he had terrible hemorrhoids, he never said a word about it.
I got a hemorrhoid donut for my birthday.
Cute.
Don't eat it, Josh.
Too late, Randy.
Have you used it yet?
I take that back. It was Father's Day. Father's Day, I got a hemorrhoid donut.
The most recent Father's Day?
Yeah.
And do you ride it a lot?
I've tried it once. It's very comfortable.
You don't bring it into work?
No. I thought I'd get all loads of hell if I brought that.
That's right. For all the right reasons, do not bring it to work.
We had a guy here who had one.
I remember. He was the goofiest dude.
Yeah, I caught him masturbating at work. True story.
Oh, yeah.
That was...
Yeah, he's one of two people I caught.
While on the donut, do you know?
I don't know for sure. I got to be honest. I was distracted by something else, Dana.
I don't remember the specifics.
But he was very particular about his hemorrhoid donut.
Okay, yeah. I had forgotten that he was one of the two gentlemen that you caught masturbating at work. He was an odd dude.
Oh, one of the oddest.
But every day he brought his hemorrhoid donut into work. You know, had it under his arm. He had like a backpack on one arm and his hemorrhoid donut hanging off the other as he'd walk in the building to go sit in his little DJ chair. And
That's the first time I'd ever heard of one. I'd never heard of something like that before.
No, neither had I. At that point in my life, we were just young bucks. We'd never seen a real live hemorrhoid donut. He's the dude. He's the dude who also walked around the building. Show you how much times have changed. He walked around the building with a book, which was the legit encyclopedia of porno movies. He'd walk around with it under his arm. And he would sift through it. Oh, look at this, the Peter North collection. He had the legitimate encyclopedia of porn. It was thousands of pages thick, and he just kind of read about it now and again. He'd plop it down in front of me and say, "You ever heard of this movie?" No, I never heard of that one. That he was a big porn fan. My favorite story about this guy, and then we can move on. He did overnights for a while. He did overnights. One morning I woke up, and being a morning show guy, I woke up, 3:30 in the morning, and it had snowed so brutally the night before. I could not get my vehicle out of my own, what do you call that thing that's connected? Garage. I could not back my vehicle out of my own garage. That's how much snow had fallen. It was a brutal storm. And so I call the overnight guy with the encyclopedia porn and the hemorrhoid donut. And I said, "Hey, when the rest of the morning show losers get there, just tell them I'm trying like hell. I'm going to try to get there, but I can't even get out of my garage." And he says, "Oh, it's that bad, huh?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "I haven't looked out the window. Like, how much snow has fallen?" And I said, "I don't know. It's like a foot. I can't get out. So just tell the other." And he interrupts me and he says, "You know what? F it. I'll come get you." And I said, "Bro, you're on air right now. You can't." "Oh, I'll put on some songs." I said, "No, dude, you don't have the time to come get me." And I said, "Plus, you drive," and this is a true story, "you drive a Volkswagen Rabbit. How are you and that vehicle going to be the one that saves the day after a foot of snow?"
I got you, Nicky.
Yeah, I got you with my Volkswagen Rabbit. I'll be there in 3.5 hours. No thanks, bro. But that's how it used to happen around here, Randy Shaver.
Yeah, you're right about the porn encyclopedia. Once we got Wi-Fi in this building, it was a terrible, terrible idea.
I can imagine.
Ready for it. We weren't emotionally mature enough to handle something like that.
And a lot of you are texting right now in with recognizable DJs that used to work here. It's none of the people that you're guessing right now. You've never heard of the guy.
This was an overnight guy decades ago.
Yeah.
If you knew who that was, I'd be shocked.
A lot of you weren't even born when this guy was sitting on his hemorrhoid. Donut. Last night's Midsummer Classic, Randy Shaver, went to the American League Ball Club, beating the National Leaguers 5-3. What do you think there, son?
Well, certainly Skeens was fun to watch. If you haven't watched Paul Skeens pitch, he pitched the opening inning for the National League and faced both Soto and Judge. That was fun. I was impressed with a couple of things. The kid from Oakland, Mason Miller.
Yeah.
I had not seen him pitch as a closer until last night. And man, does he throw gas. He's really good. He would look great in a Twins uniform. He's just phenomenal. I thought he was great. The Duran kid, I actually picked up in a couple of fantasy teams, not knowing anything about him, just looking at his stats or whatever. First time I had seen him in person last night, and of course he hit the big home run to put the American League ahead to stay. So he was impressive, and of course the home run by Ohtani was just, man, what a blast.
Yeah, he launched that dong. By God, he did. And the Duran kid from Boston gets the MVP award. You heard the audio there in our intro. A fun ball game. It always is for me to watch the All-Star game. We mentioned this earlier. The uniforms the two clubs were wearing are hopefully in a burn barrel on the side of a highway.
I guess.
Somewhere.
I wish they would just go back to letting them wear their at least the hats of their own team. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At least the hats.
Yes.
I just don't like the way they. I was The American League uniform was horrible last
They were
night.
disgusting. They were it was difficult to look at. They were obscene.
Yeah, it was just not good.
No, and we talked about this earlier. You know, they're always looking to make a few bucks. Let's get some hot new jerseys and make a few.
Right.
It's all a money-making scheme. Right. But, yes, I'd be happy, like you said, Randy, at least put the regular ball caps on these poor bastards.
Yeah.
Quit dressing them up like it's a Little League All-Star game. Friggin' dumb. Now, I did see an article, Summers, about how Senior Manfred Singenson, the commissioner, he said that they will have conversations about going back to letting the players wear their regular uniforms for the All-Star game.
I really think that's the way to go.
Good Lord.
People aren't going to be confused as to what team you're on. I think that was part of the issue, is that maybe the casual baseball fan is going to be confused by all the different uniforms and who's on what team or whatever. I don't think so. It just looks silly. Yeah, I'm with you.
They look terrible, and that was a problem for me. I'm like Wapple said earlier, there were 32 new All-Stars. Some of these guys I did not know, and it takes me you have to wait for the right camera angle to find out what team they play for, because they only have the – it's just so dumb. Willie Castro got in the bottom of the eighth inning.
Yeah.
And he grounded out to third base, but it was – you know, I got a couple of text messages, and I saw an article this morning. People coming off upset that Willie Castro only got a pinch-hitting opportunity and didn't play in the field and all on this. He was a replacement for an injured player. What do you want him to do, bat cleanup?
Yeah, it's kind of how it works.
Right.
Yeah.
I just go by what he says. I read his quotes this morning. He said, you know what, this was great. I had a great experience. Talked to a lot of guys that I haven't talked to, got to know. I took a lot of things. The article was about him just taking things All-Star related. He's filled a duffel bag full of stuff. Got things autographed and signed and that kind of thing. And he said, you know what? I didn't expect to play a lot, and that's okay. Yeah. He got one at bat. He faced 4 pitches. I think he was satisfied with that.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a great time. And I don't know if folks are aware of this, but there are all-star players who do not get into the game. Not everybody. Yeah. That's just the way it goes. You're still trying to win a ball game.
Right. And I look at the shortstop situation for the American League last night. Where was Correa going to play?
Right.
You've got Gunnar Henderson, Corey Seager, and Bobby Witt Jr. 3 shortstops got in the game last night, so Correa would have been the 4th. I don't know how you fit all those guys unless one of them ends up as a DH. I just don't know how you get all those guys in there. They're all great players.
There's a lot of talent at that position.
Yeah.
Back to the article I read where some local jock sniffer was terribly offended that Willie Castro wasn't, batting cleanup and managing the team, I guess. A lot of us have played beer league softball. You ever met anyone while playing beer league softball who just don't know how it works when you are a last-minute replacement player?
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
One of my favorite moments from playing beer league. We needed a guy last minute. Only one guy on our team even knew this guy, right? Someone calls somebody, we need a guy. Guy in our club makes a quick phone call. This guy comes racing into the parking lot, right? And he was on time. And our manager writes up the lineup, right? And this new guy who nobody knew, no one even knew if he could play the game. He looks at the roster or the lineup and he says this, and everyone heard it. He says, playing catcher and batting last, huh? Yeah, dude. That's how this works. No, you're at third base and you're batting cleanup. You're the freaking new guy. Sit down and shut up.
So how did he end up doing?
I don't remember. It was so long ago. I just remember how he playing catcher and batting last. Yeah, Jeter. That's how this works around here. All right, Randy, we talked about this in Josh's news report. We covered this. The young lady who destroyed our country's national anthem at the big home run derby, she says she's sorry she was drunk. And
and then she's checking herself into a facility. That's what I read.
Checking herself into rehab.
Well, I guess I don't know her. I've never listened to her music. I don't know what she would look like sober compared to drunk. Right. I couldn't tell. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to comment on somebody if they're going through things like that in their life. I'm sure this is maybe this is a lot of things led to this moment for her. I don't know.
No. She's just got to straighten out this funny little drinking problem she has, I guess.
Yeah.
We were just I was curious about it. I mean, you're a professional singer. You must have been really effing drunk if that's what drunk does to your voice. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, think about all the artists, I think of the Rolling Stones and guys like that played, under the influence of whatever they were under.
Yeah.
It still sounded fantastic. So, I don't know. Yeah.
I saw Wapple sing karaoke drunk once, and you nailed it.
Dude, I killed it, bro.
My stepson's girlfriend was at the event or at the same bar, and she took video of it. You look great. And Wapple, she asked me to ask you if you remembered at all talking to her, and I asked Wapple, and he did not at all.
No.
Awesome.
He didn't remember talking to anybody, didn't remember singing karaoke, nothing like that.
A little blacked out, huh?
I was playing to the crowd, pointing to the crowd, dancing on the front of the stage. I even did the Roger Daltrey mic flip and everything.
That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, I was owning it that night.
I bet.
Good for you, man.
Here's a text message from naughty insurance agent Jesus. He says, Vince Neil is worse. Yeah, we know. Yeah. No one's trying to compare her to Vince Neil.
Yeah, she didn't put the mic out to the crowd hoping they'd help her out in the middle of the song like Vince Neil does.
It makes me wonder. Now I'm wondering. I wonder how often we drinkers, some of you, Josh, he doesn't mess around with the hooch. Or Randy's more of a street drugs guy. Drinkers. I wonder how often in our lives we've said, quote, sorry, I was drunk.
And out of curiosity, how do you say it? I guess you started with a sorry, because I've got friends that will genuinely apologize for their behavior or something they said, maybe because they were drunk, and others that just use that as what am I supposed to do? I was drunk.
There is a fine line
There's
there.
a difference.
Yeah, there is. There's a big difference, Josh.
Yep. Some people
One is totally taking any responsibility away from it. They're blaming this intoxication that they had no control over.
There's nothing they could do about that.
Well, what do you expect? I was hammered, all right?
Right.
You did that to yourself.
Sorry, I was drunk. I wonder how many effing times I've said that in my life. I bet
my God.
I don't even want to know.
I know, me either.
Yeah. We talked about that, those life stats you could find out one day. That's probably one you don't want to find out, the exact number of times you said that phrase.
The singer, again, her name is Ingrid Andress or something. She said, sorry, I got to straighten out this funny little drinking problem. She's headed off to rehab. I did read some kind of a statement for her, and at the end of the statement, she said, I'll let y'all know how... Can we stop it with the y'all?
Well, she started and ended with the y'all. Yeah.
Country.
Can we stop it with the y'all gimmick? Anyway, she said, I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I've heard it's fun, is what she said.
Yeah, for rich people, I bet.
Yeah,
it's
my
not even
experience
rehab.
was not fun.
Yeah,
rehab.
they just go on vacation, basically.
You know who had to go? You know who had to go to rehab? Dewey Cox.
Yeah?
He did.
Never seen that movie.
Oh, that's a fun one.
God, dude, you have got to see
Really? It just didn't look that good. But it's funny.
It's not that good, but it's hilarious.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, it's not that good of a movie, but you will really like some of the... Dewey Cox had a terrible time in rehab.
But, okay, the thing with the y'all too, Nick, is she's from Michigan. She's not from Texas or down south or anything like that.
I didn't know that.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem, Wapple. Everyone is a y'all person now.
Because I moved to Nashville and I've lived there for 7 months.
I didn't know.
Well,
I'm telling you-
that's kind of how it goes, right? Certain celebrities, they play to their audience.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
When Dewey Cox is in rehab, I'll be damned. He is so hot, and then he's cold, and then he's hot and he's cold. He wants more blankets. He wants less blankets. You'll love it, John.
We want more and less blankets at the same time.
And the greatest line from that movie, even though I totally lost you folks the last time I brought this up, but you have to know the movie to understand why I love this joke so much. And I guess you have to be a little older. The greatest line from the whole movie. How's Glenn Campbell? All right. We've heard these kind of things before, but I guess some official statement was made a day or two ago. We've heard this before, but here it is. Major League Baseball players say they've received threats from gamblers who didn't like the outcome of a game or the player's performance.
Man.
Randy, stop threatening the big leaguers.
You know what? I have too much on the line. They have got to perform.
He's got his retirement on this.
That's right.
Yeah. He's not getting those Care 11 checks.
I have my pension checks riding on it.
They've been threatening the big leaguers. Yeah, we knew that already. I don't know why.
So stupid.
Yeah, it is.
It is
It's
stupid.
about the most pathetic damn thing.
Yeah. But you're talking about more about the over-unders and that kind of thing.
Performance-based.
Fantasy players, I don't think are. Football, I can see it because it's a one-off every week. Baseball, it's you play 7 games sometimes in a week. I mean, it's it gets all lost in the wash when you do that. So.
Yes, I imagine the fantasy junkies.
The football's different because it's a one-time deal every week, and so you're so hyper-focused on one day or Sunday, Monday night. I can see why you would get all uptight. Baseball is one of those things. Stuff happens every day, every week. Your season isn't going to live or die on one day during the week in fantasy baseball.
Don't get me wrong, you fantasy football junkies are a sad pack of You are a pathetic crowd.
No, we are not.
But I don't think you're the type to threaten to kill a player because he didn't gain 100 yards, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many of you. There's a few, but not like the hardcore gamblers who are pissing away, $500,000 on a Sunday afternoon.
Right. I might be upset about it, but I'm not going to contact the player through Twitter or something. And
Yeah, that's insane.
That's just dumb.
Josh, did you know that before Dewey Cox takes the stage to perform, he needs to think about his entire life?
Really?
All right.
What was that? Boban? What was the basketball player that missed the second free throw?
On purpose.
Everybody get free chicken?
The big guy, Boban Bobrovich, whatever the hell his name is. Yeah.
That was hilarious. I wonder if there was some, Randy mentioned the over-unders. I wonder if there was something there where people freaked out. But that was so funny. Especially when you look at the crowd like, don't worry, I got this.
Yep. Yeah, that's different though, Josh. That the missing the free throw so everybody gets a chicken sandwich. That's a lot different than, understanding what the over-under is and then maybe missing something on purpose.
No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just that's why I'm asking was if anybody saw that and was upset, like, hey, that screws with
maybe the place that sells the sandwiches.
Big Chick-fil-A's all of a sudden coming for him.
One of my favorite side stories every baseball season are the unnecessary injuries that ball players inflict upon themselves. We all love that, right? We love it.
It's the best.
It's a lot of fun. Miami Marlins outfielder Dane Myers is going to have to go off to that injured list for quite a stretch of time. It was entirely avoidable. He broke his ankle when he kicked a door following an ejection from a game last weekend. He was ejected. He's up to the plate. Dane Myers, again, is the kid's name. He's up to the plate. He was arguing a check swing. Umpire called it a strike. He said, I held up. That whole scene, you guys have been there before.
Sure.
He was ejected. He went back to the dugout, kicked a door, broke his ankle, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Dude.
Well, we've seen that before with McDaniels here in town. So it's
home plate umpire Derek Thomas just threw him out of the ball game, and now Dane is fired up. All he really wanted was a check, but the home plate umpire said he could see it, and now Dane gets run from the ball game. You could see him say, just check. That's all he wanted.
He won't have to have surgery. Here's a quote from Dane Myers. I didn't think I kicked it that hard.
Must have hit it just right.
Yeah.
You want some big Olympic news? Oh, I've got it for you. I do. The Summer Olympics, which are taking place in
Week from Friday.
Milwaukee? Where the hell are they?
Paris.
Paris? The Summer Olympics?
Well, Milwaukee is the Paris of the Midwest.
Oh, yeah, the city of love.
Why you get confused.
Coming up here in a matter of days. The U.S. women's water polo team. Oh, they've got a good-looking club. I see great things for the U.S. women's water polo team coming up here in the summer. They have an ambassador. Maybe all, the players, athletes, teams involved have an ambassador. I don't know. But I know who the ambassador is for the U.S. women's water polo team. And his name is Flavor Flav.
USA! 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 USA!
He did the yeah boy
That's
thing.
how I knew it was him.
Yeah.
Does he still wear the big clock?
You have to imagine.
I hope so.
That's his thing.
I bet he wears
the
it.
big clock around his neck.
I bet when he's fully dressed, he wears it everywhere he goes. I just saw the video yesterday of him in the swimming pool with the women's water polo team. He wasn't wearing a shirt. Flavor Flav. He's 65 years old.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
No way.
65 now, Flavor Flav.
No way.
And I guess he's a big enthusiast. How does a grown person say this? He a big supporter of women's sports. And for that reason, he was named the ambassador of the United States women's water polo team.
He seems to be all over the place now.
It's a 5-year partnership between the U.S. women's water polo team and Flavor Flav. Everywhere they go for the next 5 years, he'll be the rah-rah kind of cat behind the scenes.
That's awesome.
If you go to their Instagram page, there's a picture of him in a water polo uniform.
Yeah.
With the team.
That's funny.
Yep.
No way.
Come on.
Yeah.
He's going to be 70 and still repping the team.
He looked like he was having the time of his life in the pool yesterday.
He kind of always looks like he's having fun. I mean, didn't his wife pooped on the floor on that reality TV show, and he still was cool with it. He's always got a good attitude.
I remember that a woman pooped on the floor at his house. That was his wife?
Wasn't it? Didn't he marry her?
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. And some of you are going, who in God's name are you talking about if you're a little younger? Flavor Flav was one half of a big-time rap group in the 80s called Public Enemy. And what the hell was his partner's name?
Chuck D. No.
Chuck.
God.
That sounds right. That sounds right to me.
Is it?
I think you got it.
Chuck D, I got it.
Chuck D. And I've seen interviews with the Chuck D dude as well, and he just seems like a really cool, laid-back person.
Way more laid back. Did you know on Flavor Flav's Wikipedia page it says he has a penchant of speaking about himself in the third person? That's on his official Wikipedia page.
I hadn't picked up on that.
I mean, that brings back some memories. It does, to see Flavor Flav having a good time. He's a champion of women's sports, they say here in the article. Well, good for him. So he'll be in Paris, they say. He's going to, of course, I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're the ambassador. He's going to Paris with the team. I hope if we catch any of the water polo team on television, I hope they show.
Oh, I'm sure they'll show them.
I imagine they would.
He even had a U.S. water polo clock on him, too, yesterday, it looks like.
Oh, so
but they wouldn't let him wear it in the pool.
Lame.
Well, we'll just drag him to the bottom. He only weighs about 75 pounds.
Yeah, and I mean water polo, people grabbing you.
How inconvenient would that be if you're a Flavor Flav and you have to find out the time, right? You have to bend over, flip that thing up, read time upside down. I mean, some people don't even know how to read a clock with hands anymore.
Yeah. Just yesterday, the day before, I was mentioning that the very first time I saw the rock band Nelson on television, I thought it was a sarcastic comedy bit because they were so silly looking and everything was so cliche and just terrible. I thought it was a joke, and then I found out, this is a legitimate band. These are the sons of Ricky Nelson. What? Their album is climbing the charts? It was just so silly. I didn't believe it was real. I can say the same thing about the first time I saw Flavor Flav on television, sometime in the late 1980s. It was an award show, and he comes out to the microphone to present an award, and he's this tiny little guy in a ridiculous outfit. He's wearing a top hat. He's got the clock around his neck, and he jumps up to the microphone, and he goes, "Yeah, boy!" And I thought, okay, is this a new Saturday Night Live character? It was so silly, I didn't think it was real.
Wapple, I could see you being a hype man in some sort of group.
Oh, you'd be so good at that, Wapple.
Honestly, that would be a dream. Get on stage and just get up. Come on.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Wave the towel around your head.
Be awesome at that.
To the left, to the right.
Yeah, but you don't know your lefts and rights. It'd be very confusing.
That would be
This person texted and said, saw Flavor Flav at the MGM in Vegas last year. No clock. Very disappointing.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd want to see him. I'd want to see him with the clock.
How about some WNBA stuff here for you is how. I should have said that. How about some WNBA stuff for you, Randy Shaver? All-time great player, Sue Bird. Oh, she's the word.
Heck yeah.
She's been honored with her own Barbie doll. Folks at Mattel who make the Barbie doll, they say Sue Bird is a basketball legend who pioneered growth in women's basketball. The doll is dressed in her number 10 jersey. And it's all part of Mattel's Role Model series as they're celebrating the 65th anniversary of the Barbie doll. So that's kind of cool. I mean, just like getting your own action figure or getting your own. But I'd like to know who else is in Mattel's Role Model series.
A couple of years ago, they made one for Alex Morgan, the U.S. soccer player.
Okay.
So I know that one for sure.
All right.
Isn't some also just career-based?
Career-based.
Career-based, like it would be...
Like Dr. Barbie or something like that.
Yeah, somebody in construction or...
Oh, so it's not all athletes and celebrities.
Well, I don't know if it's specifically the role model one, but they have like a whole, section, I guess, for that.
Yeah.
It looks like they have Viola Davis, Shania Twain, Helen Mirren.
Do they have Serena Williams? I thought. Remember them having that.
Looking.
All right. Well, that's a hell of an honor.
Barbies are so expensive now.
Are they?
Yeah, more than they were before, like the Barbie movie. It became a big thing, yeah.
Oh, the Barbie movie itself has jacked up the price of Barbie dolls?
Definitely.
By how much?
I guess
hundreds of dollars.
Oh.
I'd say like I used to be able to go and buy a Barbie for like $5-10, and now they're easily 40, 50.
They have a Barbie for Ida Buttrose.
Oh.
An Australian journalist.
Ida
Buttrose.
Buttrose.
2019 that came out.
I mean, but what did this Sue Bird ever accomplish? Only 4 championships and 5 gold medals?
Yeah, they must be running out of ideas.
They're running out. She's now part owner of the team that she played for. They're called the Seattle Storms. Caitlin Clark, of course, we can't get enough Caitlin Clark, right? She has referred to former Minnesota Lynx all-timer Maya Moore as her LeBron James.
If you would have told me that, like, as a young kid, I would be playing in the game that her jersey gets retired at. Like, it's very, like, kind of full circle for me, too. Like, she was my favorite player ever growing up, and that was who, like, I loved watching. And, I still think of her as, like, she's, like, my LeBron James as a kid. So to just be in the building that night and say I got to play in that game is super cool.
What she's referring to there is coming up at the end of August, the Lynx will retire Maya Moore's jersey.
Yep.
And it just so happens they're playing Caitlin Clark's ball club. Yes, Randy?
I think they planned it that way. I think they planned for that game to be the game that Moore's jersey is retired just because of the relationship between Clark and Maya Moore. Maya Moore surprised her last year during the college season. Met her for the first time during the college season. So I think it was all kind of planned this way.
I can live with that. And so Caitlin's very excited to be part of the celebration. I think of Akeem Olajuwon as my LeBron James.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the other thing, too, is it makes sense if you are an executive in the WNBA that if you're going to have some sort of a big night, a giveaway, a celebration for your team, you want it to be the game where Caitlin Clark is playing because the building will be sold out.
Mm-hmm.
It only makes sense. If you're going to have some sort of a big night for whatever reason for your team, make it the night that Clark is there because then you know the building's going to be sold out.
It's going to be something. It'll be a big party. Hey, Josh, you ever texted with a guy that calls himself ex-New Ulm guy, Jesus?
The name does ring a bell.
Apparently, he thinks he's dealing with a friggin' novice over here.
Oh, really?
He texted and said, Public Enemy was an early rap group that mixed with rock. They teamed up with Anthrax. Yeah, I know. The song was called Bring the Noise.
Yeah, that was a popular tune.
You think you're dealing with a novice?
No, he knows a thing or two over there. Bring the Noise. Anthrax. I was just thinking about them the other
Sorry I blew up at you, ex-New Ulm guy, Jesus. Hey, this is disappointing. Patrick Beverly, apparently he's not going to sign with the Timberwolves as everyone wanted him to.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
He's going to sign a contract with something called Hapoel Tel Aviv, BC. I don't know what that means.
Over in Israel, probably?
Yep, that's exactly right.
It sucks.
You just found out how to watch Twins games. Now you got to find out how to watch Tel Aviv basketball.
New project for the friggin' wife. I wanted him to play for the Timberwolves. Again. Speaking of folks moving on, Joe Pavelski is officially calling it a career. Dana, can you even tell me what he did for a living? Joe Pavelski.
He played NHL hockey.
I'm surprised.
Mostly for the Dallas Stars, I think.
Very good.
Nice.
Very good, Dana.
18 years in the league, Joe Pavelski. And yeah, he played his last handful of years there with Dallas. Did you know? Yes, Randy Shaver.
Did Zach ever announce officially that he's retired?
Haven't heard a word.
Don't believe so.
We should try to get him on.
His birthday's coming up. We thought about maybe getting him on for that.
Yeah.
Well, we've had these conversations, but I guess I'm more comfortable talking to him after he makes an announcement. I don't want to be the guy who's...
No, I was just curious if he was going to make an announcement, if he was going to say something, if he was,
Yeah.
put something out there so that people can recognize him for his career.
Oh, I sure hope so as well, because, Zachy's one of the greatest, so...
I just haven't seen anything officially or anything from him that says I'm done.
Did you know that Joel Pavelski has scored more playoff goals than any other American-born player in league history? Of course, you get a few more games these days than you did 25, 30, 35 years ago. Not trying to take anything away from Joel Pavelski. He was a great player. In the top 10 all time for American-born players as far as scoring goes. All right, Dana. God dang it. Name me anyone else in the top 10 all-time American-born scorers in National Hockey League history. Go!
Madonna?
Madonna is number one.
Woo! All right, I'm out.
You go now. Mike, state of hockey, my ass. Mike Modano is, and isn't it cool to say that Mike Modano is number one?
It
is.
Go ahead. State of hockey.
Gosh.
America. You're all Americans, aren't you?
Can anybody jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you said Dana.
Well, no, I want to pick on Dana, Wapple, and Ashley.
Okay.
Nope.
Patrick Kane.
Hey,
there's one.
He's number 2. That shocked me. Patty Cakes.
I would have guessed Phil Housley would be number 2.
No, he's number 3.
Number 3.
Ooh, someone that you hate. Roenick.
Jeremy Roenick. He's number 4. All-time American-born. Now I know he's on Google. I can see his eyes.
Yeah, he's reading. That's cheating.
How about Brett Hull?
Brett Hull.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I forgot. He's actually number 2. This list must have put him under the Canadian guidelines. You see what I'm saying? You probably don't even know what I mean by that, do you? State of hockey, my ass.
Is Chelios on there?
No, that's a good guess. Huh. Yeah, I forgot about Brett Hull. This list left Brett Hull off because I can't believe I have to tell you folks this. He was actually born in Canada, but then gained American citizenship. So there's this long argument throughout Brett's career as to whether he's a Canadian or an American. He recognizes himself as an American. Okay, I'll stop making all these noises. Keith Tkachuk is in there. Joe Mullen.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Mullen was unbelievable. Doug Waite. Brian.
Waite played for Edmonton, right?
He played for everybody.
Oh, okay.
That's who Doug Waite played for. Brian Leach. And that last name, you guys know I have trouble.
Is it
Pat LaFontaine?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, it is Pat LaFontaine.
Phil Kessel's got to be close.
No.
Right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything beyond the top.
I think Phil Kessel's played a long time. He's got to be close.
I'm sure he's in there somewhere. I'm sure he is.
Neil Broughton.
Yeah, Bratzy, I mean,
he's probably in the top 20.
He's at 20, 25. He's got to be in there, Summers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Social Anxiety Jesus sent us a link to Colorado Hockey Now. Parise was on a podcast last week and said he hasn't filed the retirement papers yet, but he's done.
He hasn't filed the retirement papers yet, but he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we'll get him on the line when he makes it official. It's official.
Where's Dean Youngblood on the list? Ask Swamp Stomping Jesus.
There goes my blood pressure. Dino Ciccarelli. He's Canadian. Come on. All right, I told myself I wouldn't get excited, and I did it twice. Dean Youngblood. One of the more frustrating movies.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, don't.
My parents wouldn't let me watch it.
Don't do it. Now, speaking of all-timers, the Vikings are going to add Bobby Bryant to their Ring of Honor.
Excellent.
Another member of the Purple People Eaters defense. That'll be September 22nd.
Yeah. Great cornerback.
He was one of the players that I idolized as a little kid. Of course, with the Carl Eller and the Jim Marshall and the Gary Larson and the Alan Page, of course, that's obvious. But when I was a little kid, I was a little slighted to the defensive backs, maybe because I was a skinny little kid. And in 1976, you didn't have to be some muscle-bound moron to be a defensive back. I suppose these days,
that's correct.
Still, guys are a little more slender built now. But anyway, where I'm going with this is, I loved Paul Krause and Bobby Bryant. Those were the guys that I really.
You also didn't.
Yes, Randy.
You also didn't have to run a 4.40 either, right?
No.
Because the receivers that you were facing weren't. I mean, there was Bullet Bob Hayes, and then there was everybody else. And so you weren't facing guys that were running 4.3 40s and, were 6'5" receivers with incredible, abilities. So, yeah. I mean, you could be a Bobby Bryant, and not take anything away from Bobby Bryant, but you could be that kind of player and still have great success in the NFL.
Yeah. And plus, towards the end of his career, I thought he had a very hip look. He had kind of curly, long hair, had a sweet mustache hanging on his face.
Kind of looks like the guy who puts in his shift at the factory and then goes down and drinks 10 or 12 beers.
And that is what those guys did back then. So he'll be going into the Ring of Honor, only the third defensive back to find himself in that spot with Paul Krause and Joey Brown.
He would be fun to talk to because, he's got this bird's eye view of those Vikings teams from a perspective not from Carl Eller and Alan Page and Jim Marshall kind of guy, but more, seeing those guys play in front of him and then benefiting from how well those guys played. It's kind of like Paul Krause. He says all the time, those guys up front made my job really easy because they were always pressuring quarterbacks and forcing them to make decisions that they didn't want to make, and then I just took advantage of it. So.
Yeah, that'll be a cool deal to see that happen. And don't even get me started on Joey Browner again. What's the kid here in town that's been playing safety for a while? Everyone swings from his jock?
Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
Harrison Smith.
Joey Browner.
Yeah.
Smith couldn't carry Joey's jock.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I like Harrison. You don't like Harrison Smith?
I'm just saying he can't carry Joey Browner.
I think Harrison Smith's a really good player.
Joey Browner will pull I saw him do this one game. He pulled an artery out of a guy's thigh. The guy bled to death on the field.
Oh,
You guys weren't watching that game.
Surprised it doesn't come up more often.
You hear that, Joe?
Well,
That's very violent.
I've told that story before. I was at the Metrodome when he yanked down Gerald Wilhite from the Broncos and basically broke his leg.
Yes.
Pulling him down from behind.
No, I'm bad, baby. I'll rip your lips off and kiss my ass with them shits.
It was a 1987 game against the Detroit Lions. Joey Browner pulled an artery out of a player's leg and let him bleed out on the field. Killed him. So you remember that when you come at me with the Harrison Smith
That
stuff.
did not happen.
I was at the game.
I seen them rip somebody's guts out through their ass, and the eyes fell out.
That was Martin Lawrence telling a story about Joey Browner. Man, but you guys act like these other guys are tough. You don't know what you're talking about. We got to get out of here. But real quick, some derelict moron got himself arrested at the Tour de France bicycle race by throwing Doritos into the faces of the bicycle riders.
Why did he do this?
Because he's a maniac. He's a lunatic. He's
so rude.
Those guys are going so fast that anything that happens in front of them like that that causes all sorts of issues.
Well, this was kind of when the poor bastards were climbing a hill. You know what I mean? Like they're just, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
They're not going very fast at all. They're trying to, and the crowd is right on top of these riders. And some guy jumped out onto the track and he threw Cool Ranch Doritos into the face of a few of the. So he was arrested.
Did they open their mouth hoping to catch one?
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't mind a snack if I was riding a bike that far.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll never be riding a bike that far.
That's a good point.
Certainly not uphill.
Yeah. Dana, we've seen the way you look with a tight shirt on. You're never that far away from a room full of snacks.
Yeah, I just picture when you were playing youth sports, your parents just had Cheese Whiz instead of water and a Gatorade bottle and hydrate you.
Oh, we're killing Grandpa.
Yeah, we better pull the plug.
Nothing but spray cheese.
Oh, it's Joey Browner strangling him. All right, we got to let you go, Randy Shaver. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
Thanks, cuz. We'll be back in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Are you ready to beat the heat this summer? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is here to help you say goodbye to sweltering heat and hello to ultimate comfort. Ashley, what specials do they have going on this month?
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ritlin keeps it real on the Mike Drop podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mitch Aguiar.
Rest is definitely important, and I think a lot of people overlook rest. I've definitely taken time off when I get injuries. If you're training while you're injured and you're not doing things correctly, I think it's better to just kind of sit out, heal. And I've done that several times where I've had to take time off, and then when I come back, people are like, you got better.
Mike Drop, raw, unfiltered, intellectually sound, wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, my God. This pleases me, Josh.
What does?
It pleases me that we've made it up to 8:32.
Oh, yeah.
On the program ski, we're on our way. Thanks, folks, for listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Okay, so what's the, see if I can get this straightened out. What's the latest relationship news around here? Dana broke up with his girlfriend, who I never liked, and Wapple is engaged to be married for the second time.
Yeah,
Hello.
right. Yeah, you nailed it.
No.
Just got to flip those.
Yeah, flip them around.
Oh, Dana, you're getting married.
I'm getting married.
For the second time.
Yes.
Supposedly, yes.
Mm-hmm. Nobody can prove it yet.
Your second attempt at marriage. You've made the mature decision to get married again.
And I did a lot sooner than you did.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys got engaged without knowing each other very long. But, the older you get, the shorter your courtship is, it seems like, before you get married.
I think that's probably true in most cases.
In your case, it's the desperation, but for some people, it's just they know what they want.
She seemed to be willing to put up with me, so I had to make a rush decision.
You are getting married for the second time. All right, yeah. Now, did you know this? This year is a straight-up fact. Second and third marriages are more likely to turn to garbage than first marriages.
That's That does seem like a weird stat. You'd think it would be the other way around.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know how typical divorce, your first marriage or whatever, they say 50% of marriages end in divorce. With your second or third marriage, it's 60%.
Oh,
that's higher than 50.
That is.
Yeah, that is. That's math.
8 or 9%.
Yeah.
Do you know the
almost.
percentage of marriages that last shorter than the engagement, like yours?
Oh my God.
What's the percentage there?
I don't know. I should look that up. I wonder.
You were not married very long.
No,
No,
it didn't
8
last
months.
very long.
I think it took longer for you to wash your wedding dress than it did to end that marriage.
Second and third marriages are more likely to turn to garbage than first.
My wife is on her second marriage. To me, of all people. And I think we're doing fine.
You guys seem pretty solid.
That's what you think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys might know more than me, but yeah, I think we're doing okay.
So it's not a total nightmare behind the scenes?
No, not at all. At least, not for me.
When I first read that statistic, second and third marriages more likely to fail than first. The first thing that came to mind for me was, okay, I get it. Once you pop, you can't stop kind of a theory. And what I mean by that is, once you get through one divorce, you're not scared of it anymore. You feel confident doing it again.
Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't so big, bad, and scary. I could do that a second or third time.
So here are some other reasons why second and third marriages turn into unescapable nightmares and end in a bloody divorce. Number one on the list is basically what I just said. You've been through one. You know you can make it through another. You're less scared of going through with it, as they put here in the article, when the hits the fan. You're not afraid of it anymore. Been there, done that kind of a situation.
I wonder, too, if you have the first, I'd imagine you get married, the first divorce, it's traumatic, right? You weren't expecting that. I mean, most likely, you assume this is the person for me the rest of my life. And then after that, it gets a little easy, like anything, right? Anything you might be a little scared of. You went through it once, I can do that again.
Yeah, you ripped that Band-Aid off once the first time. That wasn't too bad.
Absolutely.
For example, like I got a random audit by the IRS. And that when I got that letter, it was scary. Although it was at a time where I just didn't care anymore. So many things had happened that year. But if it happened again, I'd be way less nervous than I was the first time.
Yeah, experience helps in a lot of situations.
So maybe it's that, like, I stayed too long in this last marriage. You're excluded from this, Ashley. I stayed too long in my first marriage. This one, I'm getting out. I see the signs. I don't want it. And it's not as tough as I thought.
It's kind of like when you guys always talk about the colonoscopies. You know, you're so kind of worried about them. A lot of guys are. And then you've got them done. You're like, that wasn't that big of a deal.
I've had one recreationally every week.
Just have a standing appointment.
Interesting comparison. Marriage and an anal procedure.
You take it up the B either way, right, guys?
Where you're fisted against your will while unconscious. That's an interesting comparison. And Josh, something you said a couple minutes ago. Yes, when you get married, you're certainly not expecting to get divorced. But how did you say it? Did you call it a traumatic experience, getting a divorce?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's the word you used, traumatic. The article is very dramatic, really, this article about why second and third marriages are more prone to fail. They call a divorce a tragic, life-altering ordeal. I'm very happy to say that I can't relate to that.
No.
I'm sure some people can.
Yes, I'm sure I consider myself very lucky.
I know a couple who's going through it, and it is tough. Especially, they've got a lot of, you got the financial stuff, maybe kids, things like that. It's a life change, moving.
I am very lucky that I would never use the words tragic or life-altering when discussing my divorce however many years ago it was. Okay, here are some other reasons why.
I was going to say real quick, you most likely when you go into a marriage, you think you're going to be together with this person the rest of your life. But, you kind of wonder if some of your friends didn't have that same feeling about you. They looked at you and, nah, that's not going to last.
Oh,
and
sure.
I'll tell you, Ashley, I didn't feel that way about you. We did think you were getting married a little too young.
Oh, hell yes.
But I never thought, maybe I did think that.
I never in a million years thought you would last more than a year with your past husband.
I thought it would last longer than it did.
And that's nothing against him or you. Nothing again.
You were just very young.
I
Way too
liked
young.
him. I liked him. You were way too young. It went way too fast.
Yeah, you've often said you really liked him. You hate her current boyfriend.
I don't like the current guy at all.
Nobody likes him.
You've kind of been hoping that she reconciles with her former husband.
Oh, absolutely. I still talk to the guy regularly.
Oh, really? How's he doing?
He's great. He's much happier now, he says.
He's dating a supermodel.
What?
Yeah.
A couple of them.
That's a very interesting scenario you brought up, Josh. You're known for that. I bet you, because my first wife and I were also very young, way too friggin' young.
I wouldn't have predicted you guys would break. I mean, you were very different people, but you made it work.
We did, but we were too young. And I'm sure there were plenty of people in the audience when we got hitched that were saying, this ain't going to be forever. And I don't blame them at all. But this is a even more interesting scenario in my book. This is how you define balls. This is how you define courage. Folks who get up at that altar and get married knowing it's not gonna last.
I had friends that did that.
Hell yes, me too.
They knew before it even happened that they were going to get it annulled as soon as the ceremony was over.
Why?
Why go through that and spend all that money?
I don't know.
Oh.
They decided the last minute, but it was not a destination, but a lot of people had to travel for it. It was in Cleveland. And apparently they had made up their mind, but they're like, we can't just call this off now. We don't know what to do. All the money's already spent.
Oh,
So they went through with it, and then found out that they just never even signed the marriage certificate. Never even actually got it officially done.
Now, some people just want a party.
Yeah.
And it was a hell of a party.
Some people really honestly.
That'd be an expensive party.
It's shallow and ridiculous. It is shallow and ridiculous, but it's true. Some people just want a party where they are the center of of attention. They don't care about whatever happens the next day. Fine, we'll get a divorce. That's how self-centered some people are. I'm not making it up.
Jeez, $100,000 or something for a party? Like,
it's not your money.
That's a fancy wedding.
Oh, holy
but those are the people. What's his name over there?
Wapple?
It's not their money.
Usually in that case.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Sometimes,
They're not worried about. Well, no. In those cases, it's not their money.
Mrs. Jeweler, Jesus, said her divorce was easy. He just did a shootout with the cops and went to the Hilton. That's easy enough. Marriage done.
And again, I was exaggerating. It's not balls or courage. It really is silliness and stupidity. But, I mean, one of my oldest friends, there's no way you could convince me that he thought his marriage was going to last longer than 3 or 4 months, but he went ahead and did it anyway. And everybody, and I mean everybody in that audience knew this is going nowhere, but they went through with it anyway. It's fascinating to me.
I had a friend of mine, similar situation, but it was a twist ending because I thought it wasn't going to last because he cheated on every girl he'd ever been with. And even at his wedding, he's like calling out girls, like, man, I don't know if I can do this. And their marriage did end a few years into it, but she cheated on him. And that's how it ended. He never cheated on her. He just, once he got married, he stopped.
Taste of his own medicine?
Karma held off for a while on that one.
And then it happened again, the second marriage.
No.
Third one's going strong, though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I knew a guy who was notorious for cheating in relationships. I ended up settling down and getting married.
Well, you work with him now.
Yeah. And somebody said it, he goes, I just got all that stuff out of my system. I'm looking forward to just settling down. He did not have it out of his system.
How long did that marriage last?
A year or two, maybe.
You can cheat and stay married. I mean, how long have I been going now, Josh? 5, 6 months?
You're not cheating on your wife.
We're talking about why second and third marriages are more prone to fail than even first marriages. I'll give you one more little reason listed in this article, this conversation. We've got plenty more to go, but let me get this one out of the way before we take a break. Oh, no. Here's another reason why second and or third marriages are more prone to fail. Because you're not really over your ex. You think you are, but deep down you're not. The wounds, they say, are still raw.
Dana and Ashley, are you comfortable saying if you're over your ex?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm over.
You are?
I'm not.
You're not
Which
over
one?
your ex?
My first wife. That's what we're talking about. Now, her family's got money. I'm not over that.
Yeah.
Boy, and not just money, like sick money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to let that go either, man.
I'm not over it. It's been 25 years. I still want some of that money.
Yeah, but the only other thing she had going for her was she was gorgeous and hilarious.
Oh, dude.
She sounds awful.
I'll go see a comic or look at a porno mag. I want that money. Dana, you're not over your first wife. Don't lie to us.
I absolutely am.
But your current wife is gorgeous and hilarious, but I don't know her financial situation. I'd imagine it can't be anywhere near your ex. I mean, that they were like people that were written in magazine rich.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys didn't know that?
They're partying with big-time celebs, private planes.
Yeah, I remember the private plane stories and all that, so I just kind of assumed they definitely were the type that would get written about for having so much wealth.
I was pretty much, I was paying your taxes. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, some folks, they go into that next marriage, oh yes, I'm over him or her, but they're not. Like Dana and Ashley.
Yeah, they claim to be.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
This here is for all you divorced folks looking to take another crack at marriage. Dana's headed for disaster. He's getting married again sometime soon. Why? I have no idea. It's not reasonable. So we've been talking about an interesting statistic. Second and third marriages are more prone to go into the trash can than even first marriages, where some people go ahead and get married when they're 19. They don't even have their own heads out of their asses yet. They go get... But still, second and third marriages fail more often than first ones do. On the topic of marriage, Josh, there are people who have the general opinion that Fat Lebowski Jesus is a negative person, carries a negative attitude around town.
Does he really?
That's the perception of Fat Lebowski Jesus.
I guess that's what I've always heard.
I don't see the proof. He sent a text that says, all marriages are doomed to fail for one simple reason. They effing suck. But yet the guy has this label of having a negative attitude.
Well, I sure hope all those people that have said that are eating a little bit of crow right now.
Right.
You're a moron for ever thinking that.
Here are the reasons why second and third marriages are more prone to divorce. We covered this, the been there, done that attitude, okay? You had one divorce, you're not afraid of it anymore. You might think you're over your ex, but deep down you're not. And so that second or third marriage fails because you're still thinking about the prior sumbitch. Some folks marry for the wrong reasons. They do. Feeling lonely, feeling like you just can't hack it on your own, can lead to hasty decisions, Dana and Ashley.
Has anyone here felt that way in their first failed marriage? That you felt like when you look back, you go, oh, you know what, I did it for this reason or that reason. That wasn't right.
Yeah, I definitely felt pressured into doing it.
By whom?
I'd say so too.
Her, family, friends even. Like, come on, man, it's about to be that time. You're not getting it. You got to do it. You got to do it.
How long were you guys together before that?
6 or 7 years.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Some people, they make hasty decisions because they don't want to be alone.
You said the same thing, Ashley. What was your wrong reason?
I don't think that I was ready to get married at all, and I think when he proposed, I didn't want to break up, and if I said no, that would have been the end of our relationship.
Okay.
So.
Some folks, another reason why these marriages fail, you don't spend enough time getting to know someone. Oh, that's making you nervous, isn't it, Dana? You don't spend enough time getting to know someone.
That was such a quick engagement.
It's important, they say, to get to know someone in all aspects of life before marrying.
What are all the aspects of life?
Didn't you guys just move in together?
Moved in about 5 months ago.
So you don't even know all the aspects of life.
Yeah, you said about. You don't even know how long you've been there. About 5 months.
It's recommended to be together for at least 2 years before proposing. Did you reach 2 years before proposing, Dana?
Reached a little over a year.
No, you did not.
I got halfway there.
I was always told that it's about like 3 years, and then you can really finally figure someone out. Like you understand who that person is.
How long?
There might be a couple.
Like 3 years.
Let me tell you something, Wapple. You never fully understand the other person.
True
Never. Let's be totally honest. I don't care how long you are with someone, you never fully understand what the hell's going on in their brain.
No, you can't.
I'm picturing a couple carpooling into work right now, and they've been living in sin for many, many years. And one of them sweating, going, wait, 2 years, 3 years? No, you got to wait a lot longer than that. Honey, I'm telling you, you got to wait 10 to 15 years before you get proposed to. I don't know what these guys are talking about, 2, 3 years. It's ridiculous.
Are there any stepchildren in the mix, Dana?
No.
See, now, here's another reason why second and third marriages fail. They say...
Because they do it for the kids?
Well, it says here, second marriages, third marriages can come with stepchildren. And this is very interesting to me how they put this in the article. Stepchildren are often the dissolving agents of a marriage. Comparing stepchildren to paint thinner. They're a dissolving agent.
I disagree. That was a big part of why I wanted to marry my wife. I couldn't imagine, she came with 2 kids, and I couldn't imagine not having them in my life.
Oh, will you stop being so friggin' nice?
I'm not trying to be.
So
I'm
cute.
just
Stop being so perfect all the time.
I'm not, and I realize how it sounds, and there's probably people going, "Oh, what a douchebag!" But it's a true story. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Kids suck. I can't stand them. I don't know what to say. I love them, and I wanted to.
Why do they treat you so poorly?
I don't know.
That's what pisses me off.
I think they feel differently than I do about it.
They could have some friggin' loser as a stepdad right now.
They think they do.
If you would, no, they do. If
they
you
treat
wouldn't
me
have stepped,
terribly.
they'd be living in a spider hole somewhere if you wouldn't have come along, and they still treat you like garbage.
They're my biggest bullies.
Yeah, they are.
Now.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I know it's sickening to hear, but that's just how I feel. I'm sorry.
Here's another. God, the list is endless as to what causes these divorces in second and third marriages. You shouldn't even do it. The X factor, they call it, because your new significant other has an ex or 2. Ex-husband or 2, ex-wife or 2. Some of those exes are dicks. And they got to be at the house now and again because of this reason and that reason.
Oh, that would be tough.
And the kids and the fighting and my ex said this and my ex did this. Oh, she's coming over again today. She's going to borrow the TV. Whatever the hell. The exes.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, my ex-husband's ex was a handful. That's for sure. That added some
I do remember
some
you talking
tension
about
to the
that.
relationship.
I bet that is really stressful. I've been lucky. I've heard stories where, some really scary stories about an ex.
Oh!
Like some really, really scary stories.
You're not saying anything, Dana.
Because he's the ex. He's the crazy ex that your ex is talking about.
You got nothing to say about exes?
No, I mean, my relationship with all my exes is very pleasant.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
That wasn't convincing.
You know what I'm talking about.
You sounded like you were lying on the stand.
I'm completely dead serious.
No, I'm not talking about your exes.
Oh. She has exes?
The woman you're about to marry. Do you have anything to say about her exes?
I mean, I don't really never met any of them.
Okay. Oh, I know one of her exes, and he's a very nice gentleman.
Oh,
he plays guitar.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
well,
that's
then he must
cool.
be a nice guy.
Yeah, if he plays guitar.
He's way cooler than
I was going to say.
I think Dana's having trouble.
Now I'm nervous because now he's cooler than me just by playing guitar.
The difficulty Dana's having is you can't call them exes when she's still seeing them.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, does that open up the question, Dana? I mean,
yes, I hate all of her current boyfriends.
Yeah.
And finally, on this little report on why second and third marriages just disintegrate, dissolve, like I said. Money. Money is often an issue in first marriages, they say, but it becomes even more of a pronounced issue in second and third marriages because of this and that and that and other things.
Boy, just in relationships in general.
What do you mean, just a relationship in general?
Yeah, that can ruin a relationship in general.
Oh, money stuff? Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
not even the marriage.
That's always on top of the list.
Yep.
Luckily, working in radio, we don't have to worry about that.
I didn't just go through that at all.
No, living with your sister.
Yeah.
He's a very nice gentleman who plays a guitar.
I like the simplicity of Wapple at times. You're easy to impress. You like a girl with hair and a guy that can play an instrument.
Yep.
That's all you care about.
When is this happening, Dana? When is this marriage supposed to happen, this second marriage of yours?
Next March.
Oh, so there's plenty of time to change things.
I'm sure she's thinking about that a lot.
Yeah, sure. She's a teacher, so she's had summer off, so a lot of time to kind of sit and contemplate the decision she's made in the last year and a half.
So let me ask you something. Have you sent out invites yet? Because none of us here have received one.
No, I haven't gotten to that yet.
I'm good.
I kind of had a feeling, but
yeah, I'm good.
Oh, did you say March?
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tournament time.
Oh,
That's true.
Cubby and I go to Vegas.
I got a birthday and
What?
I meant April.
April, you said?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be hungover.
From the March Madness.
I mean, we'd be doing you a disservice by showing up at your wedding.
Yeah, I think I've already made this clear. If you plan on inviting me, Dana, I'll go. But if there's a theme, not going. I refuse themed weddings. And you are such a theme guy.
No theme at all. Actually, the person on a day of coordinator, she's like, well, what's the theme? And we're like, our friends all getting together and drinking and celebrating?
Well, wait a minute. She probably knows you a little bit at this point, right?
Because you're wearing some sort of Donkey Kong shirt that lights up.
Were you wearing a Pac-Man tie or something? I mean, so don't be offended by that question.
Oh, I'm not at all. No, I mean, yeah, I could definitely see myself doing that, but no, there's no actual theme to this wedding.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Did your fiance put a stop to that, or you both just decided not
to? You look at it, it's 9:02. We better wrap this thing up, boys.
Wait, did you want one?
No, I honestly didn't want it.
Because you're not that into her? Is that why you didn't want to put forth the effort?
It's my second marriage. It's her first. I don't want to make things a bunch about me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's not 12 inches, but it smells like a foot, Jesus. Text the Luther Bloomington Kia text line with a shout out to the doctors at Rochester Mayo, who he said did a wonderful job taking some friggin' shrapnel out of his face. He didn't say what happened. But...
Second marriage.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Bad ex. Right?
Yeah. She shot him with a zip gun.
Happy birthdays to Podcast Jesus and Greasy Trapper Jesus. This texter wanted to give his smoking hot fiance, Jennifer, a shout out. 6 years sobriety today and said she's truly an amazing woman. Congrats to you, bro. Former Maui boat captain Jesus and his wife Sarah are celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary. It was yesterday. And we wanted to recognize the podcasters nice enough to keep up with the show at a more reasonable hour. We appreciate you guys being there for us. Have a rockin' Wednesday.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Celebrate Christmas in July with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get huge savings with $1,776 off a new multi-head ductless system. Visit standardheating.com to discover all the goodies in Santa's bag.